Hello. May I request everyone to please settle down? People at the back, request you all to please take your seats. I still see few people standing. Okay. Hello everyone, a very good morning. I am Vanita Talreja from Team Digital Impact Square along with...
Hi, I'm Maithili from Digital Impact Square.
So we are your hosts for the next 2 days. Before we begin with the event, I thought just for everyone to settle down, let's do a quick mood check. Should we? Okay, so maybe how many of you are feeling excited? Okay, good. How many of you are feeling gloomy because of the weather? No, not at all. Great, glad to know that. Okay, how many of you are feeling very enthusiastic? Only a few. I guess all the hands should be up for this one. No? Okay, good to see that. How many of you are feeling a little drowsy? Not slept well, especially my organizing team. All of us have not slept well for past couple of nights. But I guess the energy is up. Any energy that I have not yet spoken about, anyone who's feeling something different, I would love to hear from you all. Especially, I guess, our honorable guest today, Shri Jalal Sharma sir, I would want to know your mood for the day. Happy, okay, and that sets the tone for the day. And maybe Mr. Vilas sir, what's your mood for the day? Happy. Anil sir. Society, Department of Agriculture, Maharashtra, Maharashtra Institution for Transformation, Maharashtrite, Ministry of Animal Husbandry, Maharashtra, Maharashtra Industry, Trade and Investment Facilitation. I would like to thank all our partners for enabling this event for us. So it is said every harvest begins with a single seed of an idea. Today, as we gather to sow innovations that can feed the coming generations, a Manthan turns ideas into breakthroughs. Under one roof, we have farmers, innovators, ecosystem enablers, and we are sure today we are not just discussing agriculture, but we are redefining it. On this note, I welcome you all to this great event, and let's have a round of applause for all those who have made this possible. Before we move forward, there are a few important instructions that we all will have to take care of. And I may now request Mr. Sagar Shevle, our safety officer, to quickly announce about safety guidelines that we all will have to follow for the next 2 days. Sagar, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, on behalf of Sayadri Farms, I extend a warm welcome to our respected dignitaries and our esteemed guests. And we feel very honored to have you with us today. As a safety officer, I would like to assure you that you are in a safe place and you are in a safe environment. So, welcome to Sayadri Farms. What we will cover in today's in this briefing: visitor safety, emergency preparedness, site expectation, and environment health safety team and emergency response team. So today we are not for next 3 days we are not having plan of mock drill. So even in case you are hearing 3 continuous wailing sounds, then there is emergency. You have to evacuate this hall, and assembly point is exactly marked at your left side from this hall. Sorry, at your right side. And during this emergency, our emergency response team will assist you and guide you at the assembly point. An assembly point marked at left side, at your right side. Yeah, we are having well-equipped occupational health center. We are having a team of nurse and doctors there. So apart from this, we are having tie-up with hospital, and the hospital is at Mohadi, and that hospital name is Dhanasri Hospital. Apart from this, also we are having a team, emergency response team, fire team, and trained fire safety professional and first aid teams. During our site visit, there is some instruction. At visiting gallery, there is no requirement of any PPEs. Only we have to follow the gangways which are marking with yellow color. We have to stay within the designated zone at all time, and to avoid any contact with machinery and equipment. It may be, and there is probability of it's hot and cold. We are having active surveillance of 978 CCTV cameras in all company premises. Apart from this, we are maintaining close coordination with MSCV, fire department, forest department, and local government authorities. Yeah, we are having an emergency response team in this hall over here to assist you, guide you during emergency and in case of any question and your concerns. These are the emergency contact number with us during this program. Thank you. Wish you a safe visit and safe program. Thank you.
Yes. So just a quick update. We are moving certain panels, like swapping them a little bit because of the weather. There are a few guests who will be joining us shortly. So a slight change in the agenda, but yeah, everything is basically on track. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, may I request your kind attention as we begin the official inauguration of Bharat Agri-Innovation Manthan. We will be starting the ceremony by lighting a lamp, which basically symbolizes wisdom and dawn of innovation. For that, I would request Honorary Shri Jalaj Sharma, IAS District Collector Nashik, on the stage. Mr. Vilas Shinde, Chairman, Sayadri Farms. Shri Vikas Rastogi, I think he'll be joining us shortly. I would also like to request Mr. Anil Sharma, who is the head of Digital Impact Square. I would request Hemendra Mathur. I would also request Mr. Dada Gangode sir, AV Broilers. And I would like to call upon Pallavi Tak, Head of Acceleration and Insights from ThinkAg. I would like to also call upon Craig over the stage. Thank our esteemed dignitaries for gracing this moment. With this, Bharat Agri-Innovation Manthan 2025 is officially inaugurated.
Thanks, Maithili. Okay, how many of you like surprises? None? Okay, a few. Okay, so we have a very special video from a very special person who couldn't join us today, but we have got his message with us, which we'll play shortly. Some of you may know who it is, but I want the rest, especially our startup teams, to make a wild guess who this video is from. Any guesses? The right guess may get a chocolate from me, but any guesses quickly? Amir Khan, wrong. Any more guesses? No one. People here, make a wild guess. Who could be? Yes.
Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis.
Oh my God. May I know your name, please?
Ayush Paliwal.
Ayush, you are from?
Actually, I'm the part of the KPMG, so I actually worked with the Maharashtra team.
Did you know about this?
No.
You didn't?
I wasn't
Sure?
aware. Yeah.
Okay, can we clap for him? He made the right guess. Okay, so we have a special video from our Honorable Shri Chief Minister of India, Honorable Shri Devendra Fadnavis ji, and we would want to play that. But before that, I would request Sandeep to quickly share how we could make through this. He is one person who has been running behind this, and we are here to have this video because of him. The credit goes to Sandeep.
No, I think the credit goes to Honorable Collector Sir. So again, warm welcome on behalf of all the organizing organizations. It's really privileged to be in front of you and share. See, Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra, he always set the tone and the direction for India also. As a state itself gives a direction to India on various things. And he's equally passionate about agriculture, impact which can be made on the farmer's life. And one more important thing, he's also taken recently a charge of Maharashtra State Innovation Society as a chairman of the committee. His commitment towards innovations, entrepreneurship, growth of the society, young minds who are coming forward is always there, and he is very inspiring to all of us. And I really want to thank Honorable Collector Sir to ensure that he definitely wanted to be here, but because of what happening around us, in Maharashtra, a lot of rainfall since last couple of days. And because of, he is again with the farmers and the community, he could not join here, but he ensured that his vision is actually with us. So I would request our team to play his actually thoughts, and maybe that with that we can his keynote for all of us to guide us for the future. So thank you very much, and again once more thank you very much, Honorable Collector sir, for making it happen.
It gives me immense pleasure to extend my warm greetings to all the participants of the Bharat Agri-Innovation Manthan Investor Summit. I welcome you all to Nasik. This summit is unique as it brings together growth and impact investors, angel and institutional investors, family offices, policymakers, investors, and on-ground stakeholders of Indian agriculture. I am pleased that Nasik, the emerging Silicon Valley of agri-tech in India, is hosting this summit. For this, I congratulate the organizers, Nashik District Administration, Maharashtra State Innovation Society, Agriculture Department, Mahastride, Sahyadri Farms, and Digital Impact Square for creating this platform. This two-day on-farm immersion investor summit provides an opportunity to experience India's largest horticulture value chain firsthand, engage in meaningful dialogues, and discover the innovations and startups that are shaping the future of agriculture. I am also happy to share that Government of Maharashtra has recently approved the Maha Agri AI Policy 2025-29, which will keep our agriculture sector at the forefront of the digital era. With emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, generative AI, Internet of Things, drones, computer vision, robotics, and predictive analytics, we will implement sustainable and scalable solutions. This policy will further strengthen initiatives such as AgriStack, MahaAgriTech, MahaVed, CropSap, AgMarkNet, Digital Sheti Shala, and MahaDBT. I believe this summit will help us address the critical questions regarding profitability, scalability, technology adoption, and policy support in agriculture. It will also provide investors with the clarity on what is truly effective at the ground level and open the doors for collaborations that empower our farmers and strengthen our rural economy. I extend my best wishes to all the innovators, investors, and partners who are part of this journey. Let us continue to work together, build profitable, technology-enabled value chains, and make Indian agriculture globally competitive, sustainable, and farmer-centric. I wish this summit a grand success. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra. Namaskar. It gives pleasure. My warm greetings to all the participants of the Bharat Agri-Innovation.
All right, the tone is set for our conversations. We are honored to welcome a leader who has been at the forefront of shaping agricultural policy and farmer-centric development in Maharashtra. He has been involved in rural development, public welfare initiatives, implementation of some fantastic flagship schemes. We are grateful to host this event under his leadership. And without his support and vision, this would have not been possible. Please join me in welcoming Honorary Shri Jalaj Sharma, IAS District Collector of Nashik, to deliver an opening keynote address.
Thank you. Respected dignitaries, esteemed guests, innovators, farmers, industry leaders, and friends. As our Honorable CM Sir mentioned, it gives us a lot of pride and joy to welcome you all to Bharat Agri-Innovation Manthan at Sahyadri Farms, Nasik. Nasik has long been celebrated as a land of progressive farmers. Today, with initiatives such as this, It is also being recognized as the Silicon Valley of Agri-Tech in India. Our district has one of the largest areas under horticulture in the state. It is also a leader in exports of onion, grapes, pomegranates, connecting the farms of Nasik to markets across the world. With a dry port coming up at Nifad and direct connectivity to the upcoming Vadhavan port, Nasik is poised to become one of the most important gateways for India's agriculture exports. This makes our district not only a hub of production, but also a hub of innovation, logistics, and global trade. But agriculture is not just about crops. Animal husbandry, poultry, and fisheries are equally important pillars of rural economy. They provide farmers with complementary sources of income, make farming systems more resilient, and play a vital role in ensuring food security and nutrition. Equally important is the aspect of food processing. To truly take advantage of the opportunity which Nasik provides, we must focus on processing, packaging, branding, and value addition. We cannot have a better example than Sahyadri Farms today. By doing this, we can ensure that the wealth that is created here in the farms does not just lie in the raw produce, but also in finished products that can compete in domestic and international markets. Food processing will also generate employment, reduce post-harvest losses, and give farmers a better share of consumer value. We must also acknowledge that India is still many years behind advanced economies in terms of agri-tech. But the gap is really closing fast. Our farmers, startups, and innovators are going across the globe and working together to leapfrog into new solutions and platforms like this summit, which are accelerating that process. At the same time, the challenge before us is very significant. Traditional climate patterns are changing, and agriculture must become more climate resilient. The solutions we seek must address not only productivity but also sustainability, ensuring that our farming systems can withstand the pressures of this climate change. This summit has been made possible through the collective efforts of the Government of Maharashtra, the District Administration of Nasik, Maharashtra State Innovation Society, Digital Impact Square, Maitri, Mahastride Program, Mitra, and our partners, Sahyadri Farms. We have also tried to provide support through the DPDC funds. Over the next 3 days, we will host more than 30 national and international investors, along with agri-tech, biotech, and food tech startups, FPOs, and research institutions. The platform will feature an innovation expo, startup pitch arena, investment deal rooms, policy and certification desks, and the inauguration of the Agri Innovation Hub, that is the Digital Impact Square. What makes this summit truly special is that it is on the farm with the farmer at the center. We are also contemplating making available testing plots in Nasik district for these startups. Honorable Rastogi sir will soon be coming, and we will be pitching this idea to him also, because Agriculture Department has a lot of land which can be utilized for testing these equipment, testing these startups, the innovations. So we are planning to introduce that also in Nasik district, so that the innovators can experiment, test, and refine their solutions in real farming conditions. This will make innovation practical, scalable, and farmer-focused. I would also like to inform that Nasik, just 2 days ago, we have received an intimation that Nasik, along with Wardha, these are the 2 districts in Maharashtra which have been chosen to do a pilot for integrating the agri stack with IFMS, that is the fertilizer management system. Our vision is to connect artificial intelligence, agri, bio, food tech, and food processing innovations with export-ready rural value chains, while also giving due importance to animal husbandry, dairy, poultry, and fisheries. By doing so, we not only strengthen the livelihoods of our farmers, but also accelerate Maharashtra's journey towards a $1 trillion economy. I believe that the Bharat Agrinnovation Manthan will act as an agri-tech sandbox for the country, a place where ideas are tested, scaled, and invested in, with a farmer as the ultimate beneficiary. On behalf of the district administration and all our partners, I extend a warm welcome and look forward to fruitful deliberations, consultations, collaborations, and investments in this summit. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words and reminding us of the pivotal role that innovation and policy has to play for transforming agriculture. With that, every great movement begins with a story. And the story of Sahyadri Farms is one of vision, a very good example of resilience and farmer-led innovation. It's my privilege to invite Mr. Vilas Shinde, Chairman and Managing Director of Sahyadri Farms, to share how India's first tech-enabled farmer value chain was built, from fields to futures.
Namaskar and good morning to everyone. First, I would like to welcome all the participants, all the dignitaries, investors, startups, KPO members and all our farmer friends for this Bharat Agri-Innovation Summit going to held in Nashik first time. And I would like to thanks district administration, then Maitri State Innovation Society and also all our partners for supporting this event. And also would like to thanks Honorable Chief Minister for addressing all of us. Friends, we all know whatever the thoughts we are discussing in next 2 days around Indian agriculture, innovations, then investment and all the ecosystem different challenges. In all these thought, I think the farmer is in the center and we all here to see the change in the Indian farmer's life. I would like to share our journey in short 10 minutes time from a single farmer to now a community, farmer community, who is taking the challenges to solve his own issues and make the agriculture profitable venture. You all know Sahyadri Farms is basically a grape farmer story started in 2011 to make the grape farms, specifically the small farms, sustainable and respectable business in all the circumstances. So actually, I think we should start with this basic thought. What is the Indian farmer situation? Where is actually struggling and what is his actually, I think, challenges? We all know because of the small scale, he cannot scale, he cannot compete, he cannot actually sustain in the changing environment. And the main thing, he cannot negotiate. And because of that, actually, he's getting the exploitation happening around him, whether it is on the input side or on the output side. And that's why he's making the losses, and then the deferred situation is actually seeing is around him. Along with that, all the overall Indian agriculture, we have issues on the pre-harvest side and post-harvest side, which are known to everyone as you are part of the ecosystem. So all these issues are known to everyone. But because of all these issues and because of the individual farmer situation, he is actually facing the complicated situation. And that's the main reason our agriculture, Indian agriculture is stagnated in compared to the overall global scenario. So how to handle all these issues and also how to solve the small farmer situation, I think this is the core issue. And as a Sahyadri, we focus on that specific point, how as a farmer we could come together and create a sustainable, profitable ecosystem where farmers and also the end consumers both are getting win-win situation. And that can be possible with the proper model creation. As we know, Amul, which is a well-known story of small farmers in India, dairy farmers in India, who has created a complete ecosystem with one strong brand, Amul. So we all inspired with Amul, and we are having this vision how we can implement this dairy Amul story in horticulture, as Nasik is a horticulture belt, and Nasik is known for onion, tomato, grapes, and pomegranate since last 50 years period. Myself, I am actually a hardcore grape farmer. My family is growing grapes since last 40 years. So that's why obviously journey has started with grapes, and then it expanded to other horticulture crops. But in horticulture crops, the main issue that because of the seasonal nature and because of also perishable nature, farmers are facing a lot of issues along with these climate challenges and market related issues. So the main core focus which we kept, that how we can make the entrepreneur mindset within our community. So to make every farmer an entrepreneur, this thought we kept in the center. Along with that, how every farm we can make as a profitable venture, and for that every farm should be treated as a independent business. And then also how our crops, how we can make a globally competitive crop with quality approach. So this basic thought actually made some change in Sahyadri farmers community, and the right model for creating a complete ecosystem, that also has been properly designed, as we know that farmers should be in the center and farmers should actually have control on the ecosystem. So that's why we adopted a farmer producer company model, and we decided that all our journey will actually do with the producer company's core strength, and need-based then we'll have some modification in our strategy. So Sahyadri Farmers Producer Company, which is our holding company, this company is owned by 675 grape growers, and then along with that, then we added a farmer producer company as a shareholder from different horticulture crops from Nasik and also some part of Maharashtra now. So altogether now 30,000 plus farmers, they are part of Sahyadri. And Sahyadri Farmers Producer Company is having a subsidiary company, Sahyadri Farms Post Service Care Limited, which is a public limited company. And in that company, we have now all the global investors, including FMO, Propaco, Chorus, Incofin, then Responsibility, then JF. And Sahyadri Farms Post Service Care is having then subsidiaries for handling the different challenges, some technology related solutions, and also some market related solutions. So altogether this ecosystem is giving the end-to-end solutions for our farmer members and also to the global consumers, where we are trying to solve all the issues from seed to plate, whatever the issues are there in this complete ecosystem, how we can solve it and how we can make the overall ecosystem efficient and also globally competitive. So with this thought, Sahyadri has taken initiatives on the different front since last 14 years, and that has actually then making the overall horticulture ecosystem sustainable and also progressive. We all know in horticulture, the major issue is market fluctuation. As a perishable commodity, markets is continually volatile and prices goes up and down. From onion to tomato to any horticulture crops, you will face this major critical issue. So how to solve this issue, also how to handle all the climate related challenges, and how we can make the farm operation, post service operation, and also on the market side, how we can make all the operation efficient. So with that thought, Sahyadri's this business strategy has been built, where we are focusing on the fresh marketing, also on the process value-added products marketing, and along with that, need-based post-service infrastructure has been created in this campus and also in another campus. So fresh and processing, both the activities, integrated activities, are giving assurance to the member in case of the glut situation, and also giving opportunity to get maximum realization when there is opportunity. And all the products coming from the farm is handling efficient manner because of the integrated post-service infrastructure. And also at farm level, we are helping our members to improve productivity and quality as per the global standard, and also trying to reduce the production cost. So this journey actually has started almost 20 years back. In 2004, Sahyadri journey has started with a small 10 farmers group, myself and our 10 fellow farmers. With that, we try to do first grape export to Netherlands, and there we actually try to connect directly with the market as a small farmer. And from 2004 to 2011, whatever the learning happens through the global market, and also our own experiences in grape farming, along with the post-harvest, that we then try to replicate through Sahyadri Farmers Producer Company from 2011. From 2011 to 2016, the first 5 years, we just focus on grapes, how we can make the grape ecosystem strong and also competitive in the global market compared to our all strong competitors in domestic market and also in international market. And then from 2016 to in the next phase, we added other horticulture crops, including pomegranate, then tomato, banana, mango, and then the next phase, 2022 onwards, we added citrus, sweet corn, dry foods. Also, we focus on domestic market along with export market, and also we try to connect our other domestic retail customers along with the institutional customers, and also along with Nasik campus, this Nanded campus is added in the last 3 years phase. So actually, step by step, Sahyadri's ecosystem has been built from 1 crop to now 8 crops, from 10 farmers in the initial incubation period, 10 to 100 farmers, from 100 to then 700 farmers in first phase, then from 700 to then now 30,000 farmers in step by step. And then also post-service infrastructure, step by step we build the first only the fresh grape export facility, then added to the semi-processed lines, then value-added lines, then bioactive division. So step by step, so these all things happen. Along with that, the capital has been built through our own resources. Sahyadri is one organization which is from the first year, it is a profit-making organization, and then Sahyadri's overall ecosystem is creating value from the first day for the farmer member and also for the organization, and that value has been again invested in the ecosystem to grow to the next step. So all these things are properly planned from the beginning, and we kept the vision for the first 5 years, then for the next 10 years, and also for the next 20 years. So that with our proper vision and proper strategy, Sahyadri ecosystem is actually progressing. So actually the core strength which Sahyadri is having now, so the strong farmer base, 30,000 farmers who are well connected with the organization. It's not just a number on paper. All the farmers, they are the serious part of the ecosystem. They are taking initiative in all the ecosystem related initiatives on farm, on the post-service side. All our farmer producer companies are active, are all following proper SOPs, all are following proper strategies. So that is the core Sahyadri strength. Obviously, second important pillar is the technology. Digital Impact Square and Sahyadri are well connected from the first day, from the 2016 itself, when DIST was establishing Nasik. From that day, for the all agriculture different challenges, we are connected with each other, and all the DIST startups, they are helping Sahyadri farmer network to solve their problems. All the problems are coming from the ground level, and that's why the startups, they having the clear understanding of the problem, and plus they are getting opportunity to interact with all the users on the field directly on day-to-day basis, plus all the corrections in their technology solutions all happening with the inputs from the farmer members and also expert within Sahyadri ecosystem. And then plus they are getting opportunity to commercialize their product within the Sahyadri ecosystem and also in the Nasik ecosystem. And that's why the technologies are now giving the clear output and also helping farmers to improve efficiency through the ecosystem. Obviously, infrastructure, which is a core strength of Sahyadri now, we have all the state-of-art infrastructure in Nasik campus and also in Nanded campus. And from the beginning, Sahyadri focused on creating the distribution network throughout the globe. Instead of focusing on specific market, we try to focus multiple market and also in the multiple farm. Instead of one farm, how we can have multiple product farm and also multiple market channels. So all these strength, and obviously Sahyadri's core team strength with the corporate governance approach. So this becomes a Sahyadri's core strength now. These are the numbers, and most of the people are familiar about Sahyadri's current situation. Sahyadri is now 2,000 crore plus business. From the first day, it is a profit-making business. We are maintaining average 10% plus EBITDA, and also the continuous expansion is happening now throughout the Maharashtra state, and also now we are going to other states also, which are horticulture states like Telangana, Karnataka, then Andhra, and also on the north side, Himachal Pradesh. So with this all last 14 years effort, Sahyadri is now known as a largest grape exporter from India, also largest tomato processor, largest citrus processor in the country. And we have now sizable operation in all the crops, around 50,000 metric ton in grapes, around 1.5 lakh tons in tomato, around 22,000 mango, 50,000 citrus. Out of total Sahyadri's revenue, around 45% is coming from the export market. And Sahyadri is now a multi-horticulture, multi-product platform, having multiple product streams, fresh fruit and vegetable, semi-processed products, frozen, aseptic, dried products, then value-added products, and also the bioactive products. So multiple product range we have now. As a farmer member, they are getting the full support from the Sahyadri, complete support on the production side, all the crop-specific agronomy, then all the testing facilities from soil, water, PTO testing to residue testing, proper crop monitoring, different tools, and then along with that quality assessment tools, international certification programs, almost 22 plus different farm certification programs we have for our members. Along with that, nursery supports, training support, some exclusive variety supports, then agri input related all the support. Along with that, then finance and insurance, some solutions are also now we are building for our members. On the technology front, Sahyadri focus on creating the complete traceability solution for the end consumer. And so all the data which is coming from the farm, how we can integrate with each other, and how we can actually create transparency throughout the ecosystem, and also how we can make the overall operation efficient. For that, a lot of solutions we have developed along with our startup fellows, and in that Sahyadri is having now full-fledged solution on farm management side, Farm Setu, which is our one company, Farm Setu Technologies Private Limited. They have created this solution. Then another one is post-service side. This is our another startup, Vesatago, their solution. So complete from field to the pack house and also to the end consumer, all the supply chain is digitalized, and also quality related all the different checks at farm level, at pack house level, and at dispatch level, all are digitalized. Because of this approach to make the overall operation efficient, and whatever the crops we have added, 8 crops, so all that crops together, Sahyadri is now year-round activity. In horticulture, this is, I think, is the biggest challenge. How to make year-round activity, how to make the overall operation efficient at farm level, also at post-harvest level. Also, how can mitigate our risk at farm level. If there is only one crop at farm, so that crop, because of any weather-related situation or market situation, if farmer will come in problem, so then there is no any solution for the farmer. So at Sahyadri, we try to create all these solutions. Instead of one crop, if you will have 2-3 crops at farm level, so farmer can reduce his risk, and also at post-harvest level, it will help to utilize the infrastructure in better way. So this actually strategy made overall operation efficient. We are taking care of all the environmental issues along with all our core challenges, how we can have complete zero waste campus, how we can utilize all our resourcing efficient manner. For that, Sahyadri is having multiple activity in the campus. This campus is zero waste campus, both things for the solid waste and also for the effluent. All the effluent is treated with innovative concepts like this microalgae based effluent treatment. So this is the first of its kind initiative in country where all the waste is handled in biological way, and this is creating a circular economy from the microalgae, all this treatment, microalgae biomass, chlorella species, that's biomass is generated, and that is again used in the farm as a biostimulant. Along with that, all the solid waste is managed through our biogas plant, where power is generated through the biogas, and also that slurry is going in the farm as a fertilizer. We have almost 6 megawatt solar power generation on the rooftop. There are a lot of supporting activities for the farmer members, like the solar dryer at farms. We have full-fledged training center in the campus with collaboration to Tata Strive, and also obviously the digital impact square, which is now in Sahyadri campus. And both all these activities are supporting our startups, our farmer APO members, and also government officials for training, also for interaction, and also for creating the different platforms within the community. Instead of working in silo, how we can come together and we can solve all our problems with joint effort. So all these things are happening in the campus since last so many years. Obviously, all this is reflected on our balance sheet. From the first day, Sahyadri's growth is happening with almost 40% CAGR from 2012 to up to last financial year. Almost this 40% growth has happened, and it will continue for next 5 years. This is expected because of all the strength which Sahyadri has building last 14 years period. This is the Nasik campus. You all are going to visit all this campus after these 2 panel sessions. So this is all about Sahyadri journey for the last 14 years. Obviously, all our other points also we are going to discuss in the next panel. And whatever the questions you have, definitely would like to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for showing us how a farmer-owned model could actually transform agriculture at scale. With that, we will also begin our next panel discussion. I'll hand it over to Anita.
Thanks, Maithili. Okay, while we are setting up the stage for the next panel, how many of you are feeling cold? A lot of you, right? And I see we're not clapping enough. Why? We are having such amazing discussions. We have visionaries who are sharing their vision with us, and we don't applaud enough. So what do we do now? So, you know, clapping creates warmth in our bodies, right? And enough for us to make us feel a little warm in this cold weather. And we would not just clap like this, we'll clap a little louder, make a lot of sound by clapping with your hands open. Louder. Louder. We all had our breakfast. Louder. And that's exactly how we'll clap after every panel now. Great? Good? Are we set for the panel too? Okay, let me quickly introduce our first panel for today. And this is going to be our first fireside chat of the day, a conversation that will uncover the blueprint for building resilient tech-enabled value chains at scale. Mr. Vilas sir already gave us a quick glimpse of that, but now we'll have a detailed discussion with him on this. So may I please invite you, sir, on the stage, along with Mr. Rahul Rai, Managing Partner in Cofin Investment Management. Sir, can we have you on stage? Rahul Rai, sir. And as I said in the beginning of the day, that a great harvest begins with a seed of an idea. And this seed of doing this manthan was sown by someone who during his last visit to Sayadri Farms and Digital Impact Square suggested we do something like this. We bring in all the investors and startups together and bridge this gap. And this Manthan has been possible under his leadership and vision. From then to now, we have come a long way. And may I invite now none other than Mr. Hemendra Mathur, Venture Partner, Bharat Innovation Fund, Co-founder, ThinkAg. Thank you, sir. Can we have all of you on stage, please? Louder.
Good morning. So I must tell you that I have been attending a lot of agri-tech conferences for the last 10-15 years now. Probably this is the first one which is at the farm. And thanks to Vilas ji, Sandeep, entire team for hosting us. It's a wonderful location. And even rain gods have been very kind. So I think we should do more of such events, which is in the middle of the farm and with farmers at the audience. I think nothing better than that. So let's get started with the first panel. Vilas ji already talked about the Sahyadri journey. Vilas ji, whenever I go for any discussion on FPO, Sahyadri is one name which everyone talks about. Right? And you are an inspiration not just for FPOs, but a lot of agri-tech entrepreneurs. Right? And now we are calling Nasik the Silicon Valley. I think you also have a role to play as Y Combinator of sorts, if I can say so, nurturing a lot of agri-tech startups. So first tell us what it takes to build a integrated value chain, of the scale of Sahyadri. Where you mentioned you work with 25,000 farmers, how do you incentivize farmers at scale to work with you? Probably you have to hire the best of the talent to work with you, to engage with farmers on the processing side, on the distribution side. And then you work with likes of levers and a lot of importers. So what are the core ingredients, to build something like this?
I think we should give credit to the Nasik's overall, all this last 50 years overall ecosystem, which has actually helped Sahyadri to scale up to this point. Last 50 years, what happens in Nasik, that I think everybody needs to understand. Because we are talking about all the agriculture related issues as a community, as a startup, since last, I think, 15 years. So all that entrepreneur mindset development or technology factor importance, digitalization, then startup, this thought, all has been, I think, developing last 15 years. But in Nasik, for the last 50 years, because of the grape related different initiative, where Maharashtra Rajya Draksha Bagadar Sangh is actually playing one important role since last so many years, to create a community of the grape farmer, to create a scientific thought within the grape community. So that is a one important factor, I think, in Nasik. Then another important factor, all the farmer movement, whatever the movements are happening now throughout the country, in north side, in Punjab, the wheat farmers movement, or in the south, some Tamil Nadu farmers there, sugarcane movement. So if you see, all this movement is having seed in the Nasik. In 1980, Sharad Joshi, the great farmer leader, has started first farmer movement, or the first farmer protest happened in Nasik in 1980. When that time the national highway was blocked for 4 days by the farmer, almost 5 lakh plus farmers were on the road against the onion price cash issue, and also for the sugarcane price issue. And from 1980, all these farmer issues has came up on the national level and also on the global front because of the from the farmer side initiative. So during that period, that movement was mainly against the government-related policies. But after 1992, Sharad Joshi has also realized that government policy is the one factor, but along with that, there are so many factors which are connected with the farmer situation. And so he demanded technology freedom and market freedom for the farmer community. We want freedom to explore, to experiment, and also to create our own ecosystem. So that was this Sharad Joshi Shatkari Sanghana's their main demand. And actually that created some base for the Nasik for developing the grape-related different market-related initiatives and also some technology-related initiatives. Dr. Dabholkar is one another name. Most of the people are not aware about his name. Dr. Sripad Dabholkar, he was actually a mathematician, but then he took a serious interest in oral agriculture. And his thought was that a lot of issues in agriculture can be solved by with the proper understanding of the nature, where how the nature is behaving, what are the biology, what is the chemistry, physics behind the agriculture. And for that, farmer need to do experiment. And if that experiment they are doing in a group, so then they can solve their own problems. So that scientific mindset, this professional mindset has been developing in Nasik since last 50 years. So a lot of experiment happens in Nasik around grapes and also other horticulture crops. And in that market development, like the Europe market, if you see who has developed this market, it is not any corporate's initiative, not a government's initiative, not some any professional initiative. It was actually a farmer's initiative. Dr. Balasaheb Jagtap was a small farmer from Nasik. He first time went to London to sell his grapes, just to with the aspiration that he can get better price in London compared to Nasik or compared to any domestic market. So that was a seed, just develop a global market for grapes. So from all these basic, I think, different initiatives, then this environment has been building Nasik to think professionally, to think with technical angle, to think scientifically. And on above that, then when we started building the Sahyadri ecosystem in 2004, with this all background and also with personal experiences. Well, I spent almost my 8 years as a full-time farmer, and I experienced what are the challenges on farm on personal level, and actually that gave better insight where we need to focus, where is actually the core issues, and where actually will create a difference for the as a farmer. So all that different initiatives on the market side, on the post-service side, on the farm side, efficiency improvement compared to our competitor. Plus then for that need-based solutions, all this thought has been developed because of the personal experience and also with all this background. And that gave right direction to the Sahyadri. So I think this is actually all these things need to understand by the other people who want to understand agriculture problem and also want to solve the issues. So I think grape is a one case or milk is a one case where we have solved such problem. So if it is possible in milk, if it is possible in grapes, then I think in all the crops, similar this all thought or ecosystems are possible, and all are developed by the local people. It's not any external agency or multinational companies. They have solved these issues. So this thought need to rightly replicate throughout the country.
No, that's great. I think the message is loud and clear. We need to bring communities, science, nature together. And we need to have problem-solving mindset, right?
So the FPOs who are actually registered throughout the country, 50,000 plus FPO or 10,000 plus startups are now registered. But I think they are missing all this part. So Sahyadri is having this background, or Nasik is having this background. Whether same background, same experience they have, I think there the difference is there. I think they also need to go through all these experiences, or they need to learn from others, and maybe they can have better journey within short period of time. But I think this is the core difference if you compare with Sahyadri and other APO.
Right. No, that's great. I think that brings me to the question for Rahul. Rahul has been investing in the agribusiness sector for 15 years, or around that. We were together colleagues at Rabobank, and then he joined Rabo Private Equity, and now with Incofin. doing some fantastic investment across the value chain. So Rahul, my question to you, I think, drawing what Vilasji said, first of all, it needs patience, especially with working with venture capital funds, you want returns in 5 years, 7 years, and things like that. So as an investor, how do you look at investing in such value chains? Typically, how long does it take for businesses to mature, deliver good returns to investors? And there's also an element, of course, you have to become scalable and profitable, but at the same time, you have to drive impact, right? I think Incofin also has a strong impact thesis. So how do you bring all these elements together as an investor?
Yeah, thanks, Amin. Firstly, great to be here in Nasik. The weather's great as well. So, few things to unbundle there, Amin. First, on the time horizon, and then, how do we look at businesses in entirety, and looking at both impact as well as, commercial return. So, the easier question first, which is on timing. What that does is that, given that we have a certain fund mandate, we would invest basis that mandate that we would need to divest our investments within that time frame. And then there are other funds and other fund products who have a different type of a time horizon. There might be earlier stage funds investing more in technology, more primary R&D. They might have longer investment horizons. So we would obviously need to use that as one of our filtering criteria, that we would be able to create value and the outcomes that we look for within the period of our stated investment. That being said, there are now also more avenues coming up for investors to divest their stakes through later stage funds, which did not exist till a few years back. So the funding ecosystem is also becoming more mature. To your second point of how we look at both the dimensions of impact as well as return, I think the key aspect there is intentionality. That we have to know that, what are the outcomes of our investment, not just in terms of financial returns. The precursor to that investment philosophy was ESG investing, which a lot of us would have read in the press is becoming fairly mainstream in the listed space also. That is primarily a do no harm philosophy. So we would not invest in certain things which are harmful for the environment or follow certain practices which might not be good for society, such as investing in gambling or child labor and the like. But impact investing means that you are trying to actually firstly measure the externalities generated by your investment, but then also try to work with companies and managements who have that vision to deliver something positive to the economy and the society. So it starts with creating a plan along with management in terms of the outcomes that we're looking to deliver, and then it's a balancing act. So across the paradigm of commercial capital and philanthropic capital, there are a number of different operators. Some may be completely grant-based, some may be impact-first, in which they would tackle more challenging problems and would therefore be willing to sacrifice commercial return. And there'll be the more mainstream impact investors who would try to balance the two.
Right. But is there a trade-off sometime between impact returns and commercial returns? As an investor, do you need to make those kind of trade-offs? Is it mandate? Is it given, or one can do both?
So, if you just look at it from mathematical standpoint, you are looking at a smaller subset of a broader ecosystem. So as soon as you go to a smaller subset, by definition, you are looking at a constraint. So you're not optimizing for return, nor are you optimizing for impact, you are delivering what is your fund mandate, which is to deliver a certain benchmark financial return with certain social outcomes.
Great. Vilasji, one question which is often asked, are Indian farmers ready to adopt technology? Because I don't think there's any dearth of technology. I'm sure you must have seen, and of course, taken those to the farmers. What it takes to convince a farmer, let's say, why should he put a weather station? Why should he put a drip irrigation? Why should he put an IoT device in the field? How farmer is thinking about it. Because there's an expense, there's an upfront cost. And sometimes returns are not very easy to explain. It may come, it may not come. So what is your experience working with farmers?
See, I think everybody now understands that farming is a business. It's not a social activity. It's a commercial activity. As an entrepreneur, whatever the investment I am doing, whatever the hard work I am doing, against that I am expecting some return. So it's a basic thought. So any solution, whether it is any technology solution, any commercial solution, how that is actually creating value for me. So that's a basic, I think, thought in every farmer's mind. So as a lot of companies, agri-input company, technology companies, when they are pitching to the farmer, they are saying that because of my technology, my solution, you will have this benefit. Somebody is selling pesticides, somebody is selling fertilizer, somebody is selling some biostimulant, somebody is selling some hardware, drip, whatever things are they saying. They are saying that because of my solution, you will have this much value, which is not true. Actually, the real value if farmer is getting, that is because of the multiple, all these different solutions integrated one point, some difference. So like market related to on the back end different, all these things are interconnected. If I am using drip, because of that drip, my water saving is happening. But against that, if I am getting better quality, and better quality is giving me better premium. So then that is actually motivation to use the drip. That is the motivation to use some automation system. That is the motivation for getting some good soluble fertilizer solution, which is actually improving quality and also improving the productivity. And that is actually giving me better value. So all are interconnected. In horticulture, specifically if you see, grape farmers are more all such solution, then they are giving good response to all solutions, because in grape that all these things are interconnected. If you are improving quality, your price is also improving. That is not happening in other crops. If suppose a wheat farmer, rice farmer, or sugarcane farmer, if they are using any such technology, so what is the actual difference they are getting in their overall revenue? So that's, I think, one bottleneck in a lot of crops, where quality is not connected with the better marketing. So motivation to improve quality, that is not there. Most of the people are talking only about the productivity improvement. But surplus production means then market crash situation. So that type of situations are in most of the crops. So I think that's the main reason where farmers are not that much supportive to the lot of technology in other crops. And in such crops where market is connected with all your all farm level different interventions, so then the situation is different. It's a commercial decision, but for that the ecosystem need to be there, which is actually creating a difference with all different all such initiatives.
And also tell us, how is farmer willing to wait? Because he would like to see the economic benefits in the very first season itself, right? So do you think farmers can invest with a 1 year, 2 year time frame? Is that a...
Obviously, if I am giving some example, drip is a well-known example, but the main example in Nasik is electrostatic sprayer. Electrostatic sprayer is a costly technology. One electrostatic sprayer cost is almost 20 lakh rupees, minimum 20 lakh rupees, to now it is almost 30 lakh rupees. In Nasik, electrostatic sprayer use has started in 2012, just to replace the labor, because in grapes, labor operation for some specific thing like the berry thinning or then this bunch dipping for some harmless application. All are labor-intensive job. Labor availability is now issue, and plus then quality of that labor work, that's the issue. So electrostatic sprayers has introducing Nasik, I think in 2011 first. The first sprayer came in 2011 without any government grant, without any incentive. But then once that technology shown that it's actually proven technology, better result plus cost saving. After that, then within last 10 years period, almost I think 200 plus sprayers are there. So almost, I think almost 50 crore plus, 50 or more than 50 crore, 200 crore I think has been spent on the electrostatic sprayer from the farmer pocket. It's not any startups initiative or government's initiative. There are a lot of such different solutions around grape farming, which has been deployed in last so many years. In grapes, only in Nasik, 8,000 crore rupees are invested on the farm side different solutions. And in that 8,000 crore, hardly 5% is government grant or maybe some other outside agencies investment. All this investment is done by farmer. So why this investment is done? Because they are also actually getting the response from the market against that investment. The returns are there. So it's all interlinked. Yeah. So I think technology and capital coming in agriculture is all interlinked with that farm's performance and farmers' economies.
Rahul, so taking forward this question, as an investor, how important is technology, in a sector like agriculture, right? So in terms of your hierarchy of evaluation across multiple parameters, where does tech stand? Let's say if you're investing a $10 million check, is there a number that you believe should go into tech or tech-enabled solutions?
So let me give the unpopular answer, maybe not the politically incorrect answer. Technology is not that important, actually. See, unless you're in a core R&D function in which your product is technology. Technology, I think for most people in the audience here, is actually a means to an end. Right? And normally also when we're speaking about technology, especially in agri-tech conferences, I think it's a bit of a misnomer. We're talking about digital technologies, IT technologies. There are various other types of technologies which may be relevant. And all of that comes to bear is that how does it have an impact on your business model? What moat does it create around your business? What sophistication it creates around your business? So there could be process technology, there could be biotechnology, in addition to digital, but there are other things which also may attract investors to a certain business. For example, there may be a certain IP in the business. There may be an old brand which can be leveraged to do a number of things. There may be a geographical indicator advantage that, let's say you're doing basmati rice. There's no great technology to basmati rice, but commercially it has been a huge success. It's one of the largest exported items out of India in the agri sector. And you see a number of listed players, the several multi-billion-dollar companies which have come out of that. It's largely because there's certain GI protection that they have. So that makes it investable. And the last element, which actually one could say a lot of Indian companies deliver, is a labor productivity arbitrage, especially for export-oriented plays. For example, you could look at gherkins exported out of India. A key reason why it is feasible out of India, gherkins are largely grown in Europe and US, but they are mechanically harvested, so it's one-time harvest, and that's the only outcome, the output you're going to get. In India, manual picking is possible, which means you can do it multiple times, which increases the output, and it makes it much more competitive to export out of India. So these are all avenues which create a moat around your business. And from the life stage of companies that at least I look at, technology is just one of those factors.
Right. No, thanks for giving an unpopular answer. Had I been in an agri-tech conference, it could have been a very different answer.
I'm saying that because you run a lot of those conferences, so I wouldn't have said that there.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for being very honest about it. So yeah, a message to entrepreneurs, technology is a means to an end, right? It's not the end. That's great. Vilasji, another important thing, because you are at an intersection of an FPO and a tech company in some ways, how do we empower farmers? You know, FPO by definition is farmer producer organization. I think if we have to improve farmer incomes, I believe farmer has to move from producer to processor, to a distributor, maybe a marketeer, you know. How do you see that happening? You know, of course, today Sahyadri is doing that job by bringing together all these farmers. But we need thousands of Sahyadris to actually address millions of farmers, right? So do you see, you know, opportunity for, let's say, some farm level asset creation, farm level processing, and then some umbrella brand being created by farmers? Is that the future?
Obviously, as everybody knows, Amul story need to replicate in every crop. In Amul, everybody knows that out of 100 rupees paid by consumer, 80 rupees are going in the farmer's hand. Because farmer is controlling the complete ecosystem. He is a producer and he is also part of the processing activity. He is also part of all the distribution activity, and also he is owning the brand in different structure. Maybe farmer is not directly shareholder in the brand company, but he is a shareholder in the cooperative, then cooperative is a shareholder in the union, unions are shareholder in the marketing federation. But whatever the structure you are creating, but how farmer is becoming the part of the complete value chain, and how much value he is actually bringing to at the bottom level with that participation. Currently, everybody is working in silo. Farmer is having focus just on the raw material production, but nobody is consuming raw material as it is. No consumer is consuming wheat as it is. Wheat is converted into flour, flour is converted into roti, or same thing is happening with oil, same thing is happening with the pulses, same thing is happening with sugar cane, same thing is happening with cotton, same thing is happening with the horticulture. How much we are consuming as it is in raw form. Everything is actually converted in different form. So that form, there also we need to be present. So and it's not possible on individual level. It's not possible on individual level that I am growing wheat and I am converting it into flour and then I am selling with the end consumer with our brand. It's never possible because you cannot compete on small scale in the front end activity, on processing, supply chain, marketing activity. There you need a collective strength. So as a farmer, if you want to become a profitable venture, you have to be a part of the value chain. And for that, you have to become a part of the collective. There is no other solution. So all these things need to be understood by the farmer as a member of the organization and the APO leader. They also need to understand that the APO is there to create all these strength. If they are just having presence for input related activity or some training related activity, basic activity, so that is not going to create any impact. They have to create complete valuation. They have to control the valuation. It's not possible with their own initiative. Collaboration is must. So collaboration with like-minded stakeholder, whether technology partner or investors or any other expertise. But that thought need to be there, that ecosystem creation, complete end-to-end ecosystem, and in that farmer ownership, that is important. Otherwise, now a lot of big players are coming in food processing business. Lot of new investments are announced since last, within 1 month, we have seen big announcement like 40,000 crore investment by Reliance, 26,000 crore investment by all the Coca-Cola, all the bottlers. There are so many things are happening. But in that farmer, if he is not become a part, obviously that value is not, will not come to the farmer. Now it is the APOs, their thought, their actually vision, how they can create this ecosystem, how they own ecosystem. I think there only we'll see the difference. So replicating Amul story, maybe in different form. It's not Amul's is now almost 75 year journey. We don't need to replicate the same model. The model can be different. Yeah. But I think value chain creation and becoming part of the complete different aspect of the value chain, that's the main challenge and also main focus.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and if I remember, Amul, the 36 lakh farmers who are associated with Amul. So clearly there is a precedence, and you're right, it need not take another 50 years to replicate Amul. Another example I can think of is Fonterra in New Zealand, which is 3% of New Zealand GDP, all controlled by farmers. We work for Rabobank, which is owned by farmer cooperatives, by the way. So absolutely spot on. Rahul, I think we are into last 1 minute of the discussion, but I think one question I want to ask you is the whole issue about climate now. You know, I think we are witness to some really abrupt climate changes, disruptions, if I can say so. As an investor, how do you see climate as a risk to some of the investment that you make, and are there any ways to mitigate those climate risks?
Yeah, no, certainly in this sector, climate is really high on, the risk framework. And we have to, work with each of our companies to figure out what would be a way to best navigate that. And what I see is that companies themselves have come to that realization that it is not something that is to be done, for the good of society, or it's a CSR initiative. This is how climate was looked at initially, and people were normally looking at it as a form of mitigation, that, what can we do to become a greener company. But now the entire narrative, especially the way the weather patterns have shifted, people really see it as a core business risk. And therefore, board conversations around climate have increased in a significant way, and people are now taking a much more holistic, stakeholder-based approach towards climate. That what is it that will make our stakeholders, which in let's say processing type of a setup would typically be farmers who would be supplying to a processing unit, how do we make them more adaptive to climate change? How do we make them more resilient to changes, shocks, which come once in a while? And those investments are also being made now. So I think we're in a process of transition. And in this process, a lot of things will happen, including a lot of tech-based interventions. So again, a use case, a means to an end, a technology. And especially climate-based technology, you are seeing a number of those deployments, coming through to manage risk.
Great. I think time's up. Do we have time for audience question? Any question from audience? Maybe one or two questions. Yeah. I think there's one question.
One question to Vilas sir. As he's working in the value chain, and Nasik, it is a district of grapes, and also it is a district of onions. I'll just imagining why Sahyadri is not involved in the onion game. Just as I'm a innovator in this onion commodity, because I asked this question to you.
Actually, answer is very simple. Whatever the issues in agriculture, so technology can solve the issues, right? Professional approach can solve the issues, but the political issues that we cannot solve with technology or with any professional solution. And onion is not just agriculture crop subject, it's actually political subject. So better to keep away from that subject. That's why we are not in onion. But onion problem, definitely, it's similar like any horticulture crops. the price crash situation or maybe sometimes the shortage situation. So all that situations are in all the horticulture crops. We are facing in tomato, we are facing in grapes, we are facing in any crop. So if we could handle all such crops, so onion can also be possible to handle. But I think our time, our energy, whatever this energy we have, so if we'll focus that energy to the right crop where there is no such politics is happening, there is no unnecessary energy is going. So that's a bit thought. That's why we focus all our time in other crops except onion. But definitely onion solution need to find. As we know, last 45 years we are having the same situation. Last 1 month farmers are throwing onion on the road. Onion prices are crashed since last 2 months. And in April, March, April, that time prices were at 50 rupees above. So this situation is happening since last 45 years. This is not just last 2 months or 4 months situation. This is from since last 45 years. I just spoke about the first protest in 1980. That was against onion with the same issue. So we could solve all the whatever the big challenges in agriculture and also in other field. So this challenge also we could solve. Last year Tata chairman was here and he asked the same question. And we actually asked him that, sir, if as a company or as a India, you have handled so many issues in last 50 years period. So this issue also somebody needs to take up and somebody should find the solution. He spent 1 day, full day, just to have interaction on this onion issue, to understand all the different aspects behind this issue. And then we come up with some solution also. But I think for that, we need a different approach. It's not just a technology issue. It's not just a technology problem. There are different mindsets also required.
Check.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm Commander Varun Agrawal. I'm from a social impact startup known as Modern Village Foundation. So very interesting topic, what you've written. There are 4 constraints in this topic, which is what Rahul was talking about, that you must be profitable, you must be tech-enabled, you must have a value chain, and you must do it at scale. Now, having these 4 constraints must do, what we're talking, in India, we have a lot of restraints which we can't do. So that is one limiting factor. The second limiting factor is the bottlenecks. So we'll not talk about restraint, what Vilasji said, a lot of restraints are politically oriented. I'll only focus on bottlenecks as to where we are talking about bottlenecks. So if it is okay, I'll speak in Hindi so that जो किसान हैं जो क्योंकि हम लोग ग्राउंड पे काम कर रहे हैं तो एक आपको मैं उसका एक प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट बताना चाहता हूँ. तो बॉटलनेक क्या है हमारे देश में कि जो भी सरकारी सिस्टम है वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे ख़त्म हो जाता है. जैसे हेमेंद्र यू सेड अबाउट 1000 सह्याद्रीज, आई वुड से अगर 1 लाख सह्याद्री भी हो जाएंगे तो भी कम पड़ेंगे क्योंकि इतना काम है ग्राउंड पे. तो अगर हम एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट की बात करें तो डिस्ट्रिक्ट पे जब सरकारी सिस्टम KVK पे ख़त्म हो जाता है, एवरेज एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 1000 गांव आते हैं. ये एवरेज नंबर है. किलोमीटर वाइज देखें तो 40 से 50 किलोमीटर का डिस्टेंस है एक कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र से किसी भी गांव तक पहुंचने का. कई जगह पे वो 120 किलोमीटर 130 किलोमीटर हो जाता है. अब हम क्या चाह रहे हैं कि जो भी हम टेक्नोलॉजी बना रहे हैं या डिजिटल अनेबल्ड एनवायरनमेंट बना रहे हैं वो किसान तक पहुंच जाए. वो ये सबसे बड़ा बॉटलनेक है कि वो किसान तक कैसे पहुंचेगा. तो लॉट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजीज आर गेटिंग प्रोड्यूस्ड. वी हैव रूट टैग, वी हैव मंथन प्रोग्राम, वी हैव IITs. द लास्ट वीक वी हैड अ 2-day वर्कशॉप इन IIT एंड वी ऑल डिस्कस्ड अबाउट दिस कि हम बहुत कुछ टेक्नोलॉजीज बना रहे हैं पर उसको ग्राउंड पे पहुंचाना एक बहुत बड़ा बॉटलनेक है. तो विलास जी जैसे आपने बताया कि उस बॉटलनेक को कैसे हम पूरा कर सकते हैं, एक तो वो क्वेश्चन है. Rahul, for you it is like we are social implementers. So there are a lot of funds for, call for proposals to make some technology, but there is no fund for implementation. So there is what we are struggling in. And Vilas ji, जहाँ हम जो रुक पा रहे हैं कि हम इसको लास्ट माइल तक कैसे पहुँचाएं, तो your views on that, these 2 bottlenecks.
मेरा इसमें एक ही सुझाव है कि जो भी कोई टेक्नोलॉजी की बात कर रहा है, तो जो कोई सोल्यूशन की बात कर रहा है, उसको अगर फार्मर को कनेक्ट होना है तो मैं ये सजेस्ट करूँगा कि उसने खुद पहले फार्मिंग का भी एक्सपीरियंस लेना चाहिए, तब वो ज़्यादा बेटर वे से ना फार्मर के ना पेन समझेगा, और समझेगा तो अपने आप कनेक्ट होना भी आसान है। अभी क्या हो रहा है कि सब जो भी बात कर रहे हैं ना, उनको लगता है कि उनका सोल्यूशन मतलब अभी हो गया, उसमें फार्मर का कल्याण हो गया। ऐसे नहीं है, देयर आर मल्टीपल इश्यूज कनेक्टेड विथ ईच अदर, और वो समझ के फिर वो सोल्यूशन को और अगर ये करे प्रॉपर तरीके से ना, एक तो प्रेजेंट करे फार्मर के साथ, या उसको फिर राइट कम्युनिकेट करे, या फिर उसको इम्प्रूव करे, तो अपने आप वो टेक्नोलॉजी का एडोप्शन बढ़ेगा। तो थोड़ा मतलब जो भी कोई है ना टेक्नोलॉजी वर्ल्ड में, उनको फार्मर का है ना माइंड सेट सही तरीके से समझना, और उसको एग्जैक्टली क्या चाहिए वो चाहिए, तो खुद का भी थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस है ना वैसे बढ़ाए। सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलपर की जगह, टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइडर की जगह, वो एक्चुअल पेन को समझने के हिसाब से ना अगर वैसे उसका टाइम, उसका कुछ स्ट्रैटेजी बनाए तो बेटर है, तो उसका डेफिनेटली इम्पैक्ट बेटर होगा, आउटपुट आएगा। बाकी या तो फार्मर आप किसी को पूछो जिसमें कुछ वैल्यू बन रही है, तो उसको लोग रिस्पॉन्स देंगे ना, क्यों नहीं देंगे? उसको तो डेफिनेटली वो तो किसी को भी बेसिक वो तो बिजनेस है, बिजनेस का अंडरस्टैंडिंग तो है, मेरा फ़ायदा किस में है वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, तो अपने आप होगा। लेकिन वो दिखना चाहिए। सिर्फ कोई बोलेगा कि नहीं मेरा टेक्नोलॉजी मतलब अभी उसका कोई दूसरा अभी तक आपको तोड़ ही मिला नहीं है, मैं ये फर्स्ट टाइम ऐसे लेके आया हूँ, तो एक तो रॉन्ग होता है। जनरली जो भी चीज़ कोई टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइडर बात करता है वो कहीं ना कहीं दूसरे एंगल से तो फार्मर तक ऑलरेडी आया होता है। सिर्फ उसका कोई ना ये जो चाहिए फार्मर को कन्विंस नहीं कर पा सकता कि एक नहीं मेरा सोल्यूशन परफेक्ट है, कहीं तो इस तरीके के ना गैप से। तो बेटर है कि खुद फार्मिंग का एक्सपीरियंस करो, फार्मर के साथ है ना मिल के चलो। और आई थिंक है ना ये मतलब साइलो में काम करने की जगह अभी ऐसे आज जो बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग, पर्पज़ ही वही है। जब इंटरेक्शन ज़्यादा हो रहा है और जब डीप अंडरस्टैंडिंग बन रही है तो फिर सोल्यूशन रिफाइन होना और उसका आउटकम बेटर है, तो फार्मर का भी उसका ये बनना, उसका रिस्पॉन्स बनना, दोनों ऑब्वियसली होने वाला है।
नहीं, आई थिंक जो लास्ट जी बोल रहे हैं वही रीज़न है कि इनकी फंडिंग भी नहीं हो रही है, क्योंकि वो स्केल ही नहीं पहुंचता है। वो सल्यूशन कहाँ पे काम करेगा, कहाँ नहीं करेगा, वो उस पर कोई फाइनल कॉल लेना बहुत मुश्किल है। तो इसीलिए जो इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच है, पूरा सल्यूशन इन विच टेक्नोलॉजी, जो नए प्रोडक्ट्स आ रहे हैं वो उसी का एक पार्ट हो, तभी वो इन्वेस्टेबल भी बनेगा, तभी वो स्केलेबल भी बनेगा। सो अभी ये हो रहा है कि जैसे अब आप गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज या यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को देखिए, उनकी जो रिसर्च प्रोग्राम्स हैं वो अपने में चल रहे हैं। एग्रीटेक वाले वो अपने राह पे निकले हुए हैं, पता नहीं कहाँ जाएंगे वो भी। जो प्रोसेसर्स हैं वो अलग हैं, जिनका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन चेन है, मार्केटिंग है, वो अपने तरीके से हैं। सो जब तक ये पूरा कोरिलेशन क्या है बिटवीन एक इंटरवेंशन एंड फाइनल आउटपुट के, मार्केट क्या डिमांड करता है, मार्केट किस चीज़ के लिए ज़्यादा वैल्यू देगा ताकि वो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स करें, जब तक उसमें वो इंटीग्रेशन नहीं होगा तब तक ये प्रोडक्ट्स बहुत आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे। वो सब स्केल ही रहेंगे, लैब पे ही रहेंगे, पायलट पे ही रहेंगे।
I will also add 2 cents to it. So you're right, I think there are 750 KVKs for about 7 lakh villages and 160 million hectare of farmland. It's a complete mismatch. आप मंडीज भी देख लीजिए, कुछ भी देख लीजिए, there is a huge mismatch between the physical infrastructure and what is needed on the ground, right? I think the way it can be solved potentially in next hopefully 5-10 years is use of more and more digital tools. Today also farmer is consuming a lot of information on social media, YouTube, WhatsApp, Insta, etc. I believe if we can develop some really good bots, essentially a voice bot or a video bot, in a language of farmer, vernacular language, and then transfer a lot of this knowledge and information through that mean, it might work. The reason some of it is not working now because it is not contextualized to the farmer needs. And that's where I see the integration of AgriStack, Open Network, other DPIs in agriculture, combined with the use of technology, especially AI tools, which can make it more curated, contextualized. I think that has the potential to solve for it. let's see how that plays out. Do we have time for more questions, or maybe one last question?
Thanks. Hi, Rahul. Good morning. My question is to you. So, we are a country which is driven by agriculture as an economy. The logic would have said that maximum VCs would have been investing in agri because the economy is driven by that. But you see less than 5% of VCs have agri as their thesis. So I think the primary reason is also because people have not seen exits or unicorns coming out of agri. But you see that changing over a period of time with the new infra and the government support?
So I think the first premise, actually agriculture in terms of value is not driving the economy. Agri is about 14%, 60% plus is services sector. Part of that may be related to agri, and then part of manufacturing may be also part of the broader agri value chain. So give or take, agri may be about 18-20% of GDP in the broader sense. Where it is definitely important is in terms of employment and people, which, more than 60% of households are in one way or the other related to agriculture. A significant part of that actually may also be some degree of underemployment or disguised unemployment. So that's one factor why not as much capital has flowed through to this space. The second reason is that it is also a pretty difficult sector to invest in. There are more, scalable opportunities in number of other sectors. Now, that is changing over time. There are a whole host of entrepreneurs coming into the sector and attacking the pretty difficult problems that exist in the sector. So if I look at the sector, say 15 years back, you really did not have the type of talent pool that you have today. People setting up ventures in agriculture come from now the best of institutions, the best of backgrounds. They worked abroad, they worked in MNCs, they worked in the best agri companies globally, and are coming back to India to address the problems that are there. So there is definite potential, and I see the future is very bright for agricultural investments. But that being said, I don't think it's ever going to reach the scale of investments which are happening, in the broader, technology, network systems and things like that.
Yeah, I just also want to respond to it very quickly. So, because you mentioned unicorn, so it's an imaginary animal, and that applies a lot to the kind of unicorn that has been created. I think 120, 130 unicorns. With valuation correction, I'm sure that number keeps on fluctuating. My guess is 60, 70, 80, whatever that number be. In agriculture, I think unicorn definition anyway need to be revised. In my opinion, should be a startup or a company touching 1 million lives positively. Probably is a far better definition than $1 billion valuation, right? And I always say agri-tech is probably one of those sectors which is not going to be monopolized. Look at all unicorn-oriented sectors. There are 4, 5, 6, 7 big players who dominate in terms of funding they get, in terms of the valuation they create. I think this is one of the sectors where there could be unicorns sitting in Nasik, serving 100 villages, 1,000 villages. So I think we probably need to contextualize this whole unicorn paradigm far better in the context of agriculture. Thank you, Vilasji, thank you, Rahul, and thanks to the audience.
Sir, can we ask you to stand for a picture? Quick. A picture before you leave, if you can just be there. Can we have a huge round of applause? I must say that was a brilliant, brilliant discussion, and this tone for the day has been set. Just to quickly summarize few important points that we discovered from this conversation. One, that was again emphasized by Mr. Vilas on co-creation. Nothing is possible without building that empathy and trust with the farmers. And I guess together is the answer to every problem. And Rahul bringing in very, very honest insights into investments. And I am sure there are startups who don't have the technology as the backbone. They are very happy knowing that technology is just the means, but not the end. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for lovely insights. And before we move towards a very special speaker who is going to come on stage shortly, I see the energy in the room dropping a little. Yes, no? See, you don't even have answers. The energy has dropped rock bottom. Let's bring it up. Let's quickly stand up. No, we'll stand up. We'll do a little stretch, warm us up. There are a little funny face exercises and stretches that we should do that makes you feel a little better, energetic. All with me? See, if I can do this in a sari, you all can do it in your suits, majority of you, right? Cool? Are you all with me? Yes. Are you all with me? Yes. Okay, great. Can we try touching our feet? With both your hands? Your feet, not the ground. Try touching your feet thrice. 1, 2, and 3. Lovely. Can we just rotate our wrists? Both the clockwise, anti-clockwise. Good. Your hands, both the hands, clockwise, anti-clockwise. Okay, try stretching with your hands up. Stretch. Get on your toes. Get on your toes. Okay, great. And I know these are for the body, but your face also feels tired. You feel sleepy. Can we blow our mouths and just tap? Tap, tap, tap. I want everyone to do that. That makes you feel a little awake. All with me? Great, you are a great audience and all the sports. Thank you so much. Please sit down. Okay, quickly moving towards the next speaker for the day, another person who is a visionary and is here with us. We are grateful to have him with us today. Honorable Shri Vikas Rastogi, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Agriculture, Government of Maharashtra. Today he is here to address all the startups and investors and again set his vision for an event like this. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us your time. I would like to invite you on the stage and address the audience. Can we have a huge round of applause for him?
I'll use this mic. A very good afternoon to all of you. I must congratulate Sahyadri Farms and all the participating entities to conceptualize Bharat Agrinnovation Manthan and bring a diverse set of participants representing various institutions to discuss about agri-tech, the way forward, what we have achieved, what we should be achieving, and what kind of policies and support will make it possible. I have been asked to present what policies the government of Maharashtra has formed, is implementing, and what is the road ahead that we think will be beneficial to the farmers. I have also been asked to mix a little bit of Hindi with English. तो आप सभी का स्वागत है और आज मेरे एड्रेस में महाराष्ट्र सरकार ने खेती के क्षेत्र में किस तरह का पॉलिसी को अभी अपनाया है और किसानों के हित के लिए किस तरह की अलग अलग स्कीम्स को लाने की कोशिश की जा रही है. I must start with saying that the government of Maharashtra, led by Honorable Chief Minister Shri Devendra Fadnavis, is very, very keen on introducing technology in all sectors and more so in agriculture. He has a vision that we should bring the latest technology, make it adaptable to the environment of Maharashtra, for the kind of weather and soils that we have, the cropping pattern that we have, and ensure that farmers get more income from the same plot of land. And it starts with Maharashtra Agriculture AI policy, which has been unveiled this year in 2025, which is valid for next 5 years up to 2029. There are 6 basic pillars of the policy. The first one is agriculture data exchange, which I think is path-breaking in the sense getting access to reliable quality data at one place is almost impossible in our country. All the data sets belong to various organizations and they are very, very possessive about the data. The sharing policies are not well defined and there is no mechanism wherein a researcher, a startup, or even a government department can get access to all sorts of data that is really required. And if we talk about AI, then nothing is possible unless we have good quality, high quality data and lot of data actually. So the first pillar is setting up an agri-data exchange and also within the exchange also a sandbox wherein the startups can bring up their ideas, play around with the data, play around with their algorithms, test them and be ready for rollout. So that is the first pillar. The second one is setting up a geospatial engine as a digital public infrastructure. Again, we get lots of data from remote sensing. We also get a lot of data from drones. But how do we analyze it? How do we visualize it? And how do we convert into actionable information or advisories remains an issue. So setting up a geospatial data engine as a DPI is the second pillar of the policy. Lots of our farmers look forward to exporting their valuable agri products to Europe, US, other countries in the world. And every country has its own requirement about standards, protocols, the way the crops are being produced and handled. So traceability becomes very, very important. Traceability along with certification becomes very, very important. So third pillar of the policy is setting up a traceability and certification DPI, which could be used by startups, which could be used by export houses, the farmer producer organizations, or even the farmers to convince the importer about the kind of seeds they are using, the agriculture practices, the storage, handling and processing protocols, and ensure that they get the best out of their crops. So traceability DPI is the third pillar. There are lots of startups here, lots of agri-tech investors are also here. And what we have seen in Sahyadri is a huge effort over the last 15 years with a lot of innovative ideas, lot of effort, lots of learnings, and scaling it up. What we want to do is to ensure that the startups and agri-tech companies get access to the farmers through a structured process. So we will be coming up with the problem statements right from seeds, availability of seeds, to processing, handling and marketing, entire value chain. Whatever pain points the farmers, FPOs and other stakeholders are experiencing, those pain points have been converted into problem statement. We would be inviting proposals. How do we solve them using technology, using agri-tech innovations? And there will be a mechanism to assess them, to evaluate the proposals, something like what Innovation Society of Maharashtra has been doing. but this is focusing on agriculture alone, along with mentoring support, getting them connected to the universities, getting them access to the pilot fields of the agriculture universities and even the state government pilots, and ensure that they get a kind of support which could be instrumental in implementing them in the farmer's field. So there is a revolving fund available, there is mentoring available from the experts, of course access to the data, and as I said, sandbox environment would also be available. And idea is to let them experiment and come up with solutions. This was, as you might, some of you might be aware, we started in Pune Agri Hackathon, where 16 agri-tech startups were chosen. They are demonstrating their results, their proposals and solutions in the real field scenario. And I think by the end of January, we will have the results with us. So the fourth pillar is the startup and revolving fund based on the problem statement. The fifth one is capacity building. AI and agri-tech requires a lot of adoption, and especially for the farmers of Maharashtra. We have more than 15 million farmers having on an average 1.2 hectare of land. That's a lot of farmland and a lot of farmers. And unless we reach out to them, unless we create an environment of trust and support, I think the issue that somebody raised is how do we reach out to farmer and how do we ensure they adopt these technologies. So a lot of capacity building is required among the farmers and also the extension machinery. So one pillar is only on capacity building. And the final one is a global AI conference in February 2026 in Mumbai, which will bring all these stakeholders at the same platform and provide them an opportunity to interact, learn, and form collaborations. We are inviting the multilateral funding agencies, we are inviting global agtech companies, the universities, and also startup companies within India on the same platform. And we are expecting a lot of private investors also coming, a lot of institutional investors coming up and supporting these startup initiatives. So with these 6 pillars, the government of Maharashtra launched this policy in the month of May 2025. And as I just said, the Global AI Conference will be held on 22nd and 23rd of February in Mumbai. And I'll expect many of you to attend to share your experiences and have an opportunity of collaborations with your like-minded people. Somebody mentioned about agri-tech and agri-tech, sorry. Now, agri-tech is first of its kind DPI in agriculture, which brings farmer, its plots and its crops together on the same platform. Now, agri-tech becomes one of the building blocks of our agri-data exchange. Maharashtra has been doing exceptionally well in agri-tech adoption. More than 11 million farmers of Maharashtra have already enrolled for Farmer ID, and we have already started using this DPI for various use cases. The first use case is the direct benefit transfer for various schemes. So schemes like drip irrigation, protected cultivation, farm ponds, farm mechanization, everything is now linked to Farmer ID. So the farmers who would like to take benefit of this, they simply have to code their Farmer ID, get an OTP on their mobile, confirm it is the same farmer, and then they don't have to supply any other document, no land records, no crop data, etc., because entire thing is pulled through an API from AgriStack, and they can easily get the benefits that they are looking for. That is the first case we have already launched. The second use case is the crop loans. So KCC loan have been integrated first time in Maharashtra with AgriStack, and 12 public sector banks have already started using this platform called Jan Samarth for providing seamless distribution of loans to the farmers. The entire thing is automated. There is no human intervention involved. And I'm proud to say that Maharashtra has been the first state in the country to actually use this. The third one is advisories. Some of you might have heard of Mahavistar AI, which is an extension, digital extension tool prepared by the government of Maharashtra, wherein farmers get access to the validated knowledge that has been created by the universities, the ICR institutions, knowledge coming from our mandis, weather data, storage availability, all that is coming up on the same platform using generative AI and also the local language. The farmers are able to get access to all this validated knowledge at their fingertips. So again, here we have linked it to AgriStack. So whenever a farmer puts his farmer ID, the Mahavistar automatically knows which plots, which area the farmer belongs to, and can provide personalized details about the mandi, the close by price range of various crops in the nearest mandi, and also the weather data, forecast, etc. of that area. The next use case which we are using AgriStack, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, the crop insurance, wherein again this year we have integrated with the AgriStack, and the farmer has to simply indicate his farmer ID to get enrolled in Fasal Bima Yojana and also get the final benefit in case there are crop losses. The two use cases coming up are procurement. So the procurement will again also be linked with AgriStack in soon. And all of you are aware, last 1 month or so, Maharashtra has been facing episodes of rainfall more than 65 mm, and there has been wide-scale losses to the crops. Now, what government of Maharashtra has decided that in the coming season, the relief and rehabilitation operations will also be linked to farmer ID, so that the farmers don't have to provide any details when they claim any losses because of either dry spell or heavy episodes of rainfall. The Mahavistar, which I just mentioned, is a part of Open AgriNet. Many of you may be a bit aware of. Open AgriNet is a concept for bringing a digital public infrastructure for agriculture and provide information not only farmers but various other stakeholders. So Mahavistar is the first such extension mechanism for the state of Maharashtra in the country, and we have more than 170,000 farmers who have already downloaded Mahavistar app and are using the AI-led chatbot for getting access to various kind of knowledge products, information and data. The government of Maharashtra has also realized that agriculture requires large-scale investments, not only on the farm field, but in the entire value chain. And this year, the government of Maharashtra has pledged its support for making investment in agriculture over the next 5 years to the tune of $3 billion to ensure that farmers get access to water, are able to utilize water in the most optimum manner. There are storage facilities created, all sorts of processing, primary pre-processing, etc. facilities are also created. In a way, entire value chain is taken care of. And while doing so, the government of Maharashtra has also kept 3 principles in mind. One, it is demand-led. So whatever farmers require, those kind of supports will be available through direct benefit transfer. Second is the innovation or requirement or opportunities at the local level. So district plans would also be funded through their strategic plans. And third one is to boost research support to universities. Also part of this scheme is called Mahakrushi Yojana or Krishi Samriddhi Yojana of Maharashtra. Finally, I would also like to mention the initiatives of government of Maharashtra with multilateral funded agencies like ADB and World Bank. We have two projects, which is Nanaji Deshmukh Krishi Sanjeevani Prakalp called POKRA, which is basically building climate resilience in agriculture. And second is SMART, which is the state of Maharashtra's agribusiness and rural transformation, which is basically ensuring the entire value chain and supporting FPOs in building resilient value chains. We also have set up 5 commodity commodity stewardship councils for various kind of crops, which includes fruits, which includes soybean, which includes maize and millets, cotton, as well as pulses. And this stewardship council, which Sahyadri of course is part of the fruits council, Sri Shinde is chairing that council, is basically building a partnership among various stakeholders and ensuring that all sorts of policy related issues, execution related issues are discussed and a kind of lobbying is created so that it is sorted out at various levels. Finally, I am really happy that such kind of interaction here is taking place, and eventually the startups who are leading this change will get the platform. The government of Maharashtra is committed to support you, to learn from you and work with you. Thank you so much.
On importance of startups and agri-tech's access to farms, and giving importance to actually the entire value chain pain points from socio-economical and political background, and some fantastic initiatives that are coming our way. With that, I would like to proceed with our next panel, and I would request my team behind the screen to play a small video before we onset the panel. The theme for this panel would be building agri-tech from ground up, farmers, policy and ecosystem enabler. We have a video that will be playing of a progressive farmer innovator and farmer director, Ganesh Kadam. He's known for his involvement with a lot of startups and all the tech-driven initiatives at Sahyadri and his commitment for innovation in agriculture.
Namaskar, my name is Ganesh Kadam. I am started farming since 2004. 17 business sector, out of that 14 business sectors are directly or indirectly depend on the farming. Still, the farmer is in a financial crisis, and for that there is need for innovations, science, technology and value addition in a agriculture sector. To address this problem, we are coming with Bharat Agri Innovation Manthan with the Sahyadri and DISC. This Bharat Agri Innovation Center is not a one-day program or not the one-day concept. We have started this concept since from last 5 years. We are working with new innovators, new startups visited in different countries, and they are come with only one solution. There are large landholding farmers and they are working as a business model. But in India, we are a marginal farmer and marginal landholding. And there is only one solution. Individually, we can't do anything, but collectively, we can achieve our financial goals and dreams. This is the truth, and this truth we are seeing with Sahyadri Farm since from last 15 years. Thank you.
With that, he's also in the room today, so you will get a chance to interact with him. With that, I would like to invite the panelist for the next session, Mr. Ramdas Patil, Farmer Director, Sahyadri Farms. I would request you to come on the stage. Meanwhile, I would request the team to set up the stage, please. Mr. Anil Sharma, Head, Digital Impact Square, a TCS Foundation initiative. Mr. Kanishka Chatterjee from Nudge Foundation. Dr. Asha Sundaramurthy, Director, Trade and Investment, Australian Trade and Investment Commission, Austrade. Mr. Azan Merchant, Co-founder, Bharat Intelligence. And this panel would be moderated by Dr. Pallavi Tak, Head Acceleration and Insights, ThinkAg. I request our moderator and panelists to please join us on the stage.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Namaskar. आपकी permission से we will use Hindi and English both. Is that okay? Okay. By the way, this panel had to happen in the afternoon today, but we have been asked to do it now. तो अगर हम कोई सवाल ना पूछ पाएं या जवाब ना दे पाएं, तो मान लीजिएगा तैयारी के लिए समय थोड़ा कम था. But the stage has been set beautifully. One, because we're sitting on the farm, and two, because it has been really very warm. Vilasji, your team, it feels we are home. And we all have a lot of farmer friends here. So this could not have been a better set of people today. We have 45 minutes. We'll try to make max out of it. The session is going to talk about building agri-techs and ground up. So we'll have two parts to the discussion. One, building the agri-tech piece, and we have enablers sitting here, we have farmers sitting here, we have innovators sitting here on the panel. So how agri-tech is shaping up, or how agri-tech can be built ground up. Yesterday when we were discussing on what to discuss today, दो बहुत important और amazing चीज़ें निकल कर आई, and out of the panelists, one was when we work together, we are visualizing together. And when we are visualizing together, that's the time when we probably are co-creating the right thing. We are understanding the problem together, we are understanding the solution together, and that's a better way of co-creation. रामदास जी ने कल बहुत अच्छी बात बोली, और आप सभी के सामने इस सेशन को शुरू करने से पहले रखना चाहूँगी. साथ में काम करना is not just an economic issue. ये एक सामाजिक प्रतिष्ठा की भी बात है हम सभी लोगों के लिए जो इस पूरी वैल्यू चेन, सप्लाई चेन कड़ी से जुड़े हुए हैं. इसी के साथ we have Anil ji, we have Kanishka, we have Asha, we have Azan, and we have रामदास जी. रामदास जी, आपसे शुरू करें. आज सुबह विलास जी ने अपनी जर्नी में बताया कि कहाँ लर्निंग स्टेज के बाद एग्जीक्यूशन आया, एग्जीक्यूशन के बाद एक्सपेंशन, और एक्सपेंशन के बाद इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइजेशन. आपने अन्ना के साथ की जर्नी को जब एक्सप्लेन किया, तो आपने बताया पहले आपको अंदाज़ा हुआ कि ये सही है, फिर आपको विश्वास हुआ कि ये सही है, उसके बाद आपने परिणाम देखे, ना सिर्फ अपने लिए बट अपने ही कुटुंब के बाकी सब लोगों के लिए भी, और अब ये एक मुहिम में, एक मूवमेंट में कन्वर्ट हो गया है. मैं आपसे दरखास्त करूंगी कि आप अपनी पूरी जर्नी, अपनी यात्रा को संक्षेप में बताएं. 2011 से लेकर अभी तक का सफ़र आप साझा करें.
नमस्ते. मैं तो थोड़ी क्षमा चाहूँगा, मेरी इतनी हिंदी अच्छी नहीं है, और इंग्लिश के बारे में तो बहुत सारा मेरे सर के ऊपर से गया है. लगभग जो अभिमन्यु की तरह आधा अधूरा थोड़ा हो गया है, तो मैं आपसे पहले तो क्षमा मांगूंगा. थोड़ी अगर बोलने में दिक्कत आए तो मैं कोई शब्द ढूंढता हूँ हिंदी में, थोड़ा याद पड़ेगा बोलने में. तो लगभग मेरा जो शिक्षण था वो पूरा होने के बाद मैंने एक 8 महीने एक मैनेजर के स्पोर्ट क्लब में मैनेजर की पोस्ट की, और उसके बाद मैं सोचता था कि खेती करूं या सर्विस करूं, बिजनेस करूं। तो मैंने खेती का निर्णय लिया। बहुत सारे मॉडल भी थे सामने, कुछ उदाहरण अच्छे थे, तो खेती का मैंने चुनाव किया। लगभग 99 में खेती में आया। खेती में आने के बाद पहले भाजीपाला वगैरह पिक क्रॉप करते थे, बाद में 2000 में अंगूर लगाया तो लगभग 2010 तक एक ही कोई व्यापारी नहीं था अंगूर बेचने के लिए। जब हम अंगूर बनाते हैं तो देने के टाइम में व्यापारी का संबंध आता है, तो कई बार बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम आते थे। पैसे डूबने के इशू आते थे, कोई हार्वेस्टिंग का इशू आता था, कभी कभी बहुत सारे एक हज़ारों कारण होते, अनेक इशू आते हैं अपना क्रॉप आखिर तक लेके जाने के लिए। तो 2010 में लियोसिन का प्रॉब्लम आ गया, जो यूरोपियन यूनियन ने उनके ऊपर अचानक बंदी कर दी, जो कि अपेडा अपनी संस्था है, अपेडे का माध्यम से हमें सूचना दी जाती है कि कोई क्या क्या केमिकल चलेगा, क्या क्या केमिकल नहीं चलेगा, इसके बारे में पहले ही सूचना दी जाती है। तो हम किसान लोग जो उसका सूचनाएं होती है उनका पालन करते हैं। तो अचानक से जब हार्वेस्टिंग का टाइम आ गया तब वो पता चला कि लियोसिन का वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहे माल। तो 2010 में लगभग मेरा 16 लाख रुपए का माल मैंने अलग अलग व्यापारियों को दे दिया था। लगभग 4 व्यापारियों को दे दिया था, 4 एक्सपोर्टर को दिया था। तो चारों एक्सपोर्टर ने मेरे पैसा देने से मना किया, क्योंकि उधर एक्सेप्ट नहीं हुआ माल। ऐसा ऐन वक्त पे माल निकल गया। हम तो लोकल पे भी देर से माल हाथ में नहीं था, तो बहुत सारा प्रॉब्लम आ गया वो टाइम में। तो उसके अगले ही साल अन्ना जी MRDBS का अभी उन्होंने उल्लेख किया था। MRDBS एक द्राक्ष बागायतदार संघ किसानों की संस्था है। तो उनके ऊपर हर साल कोई ना कोई जो हर एक टाइप का प्रश्न आता है उसके स्टेज पे। तो अन्ना जी ने एक उनको थोड़ा वक्त मांगा था बोलने के लिए। हालांकि वहाँ वक्त उनको देने के लिए उनके पास वक्त नहीं था, फिर भी वो 5 ही मिनट बोले थे। और 5 ही मिनट में मैं समझ गया कि इस बंदे में कुछ खास है। तो समझ में आता है, हम अगर बात एक दूसरे से बात करते तो उनको बातें से पता चलता है कि ये आदमी किस टाइप का है। तो उसी समय तय किया कि इनके साथ काम करना तो थोड़ा विश्वास पात्र रहेगा, क्योंकि 16 लाख तो वो टाइम में 16 लाख गए थे, तो हमारे लिए बहुत वो बड़ी कीमत थी। लगभग कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ करके मैंने थोड़े थोड़े 50% छोड़ दिए, 50% जितना मिला वो पैसे ले लिया। और उसके बाद अन्ना जी के साथ मैं काम करता। तब तक सह्याद्री फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी स्थापन नहीं हुई थी। हालांकि अन्ना जी खुद कुछ किसानों के साथ काम करते थे। तो मेरे बड़े भाई थे, मैंने घर पे बोला ऐसा ऐसा करना है, विलास जी के साथ काम करना है। तो बड़े भाई बोले अगर विलास जी आएंगे अपने खेत में तो हम उनके साथ काम क्यों नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन वो अपने खेत पे आने चाहिए। तो मैंने बोल दिया। तो फील्ड पे जो लोग आते हैं उनके पास मैंने बात कर दी, अन्ना जी आएंगे तो अच्छा लगेगा हमको। तो वो भी आए, उन्हें परख लिया, काफ़ी अच्छे किसान हैं, अच्छे खिलाड़ी लगते हैं। उन्होंने भी पसंद किया माल। हमने भाव नहीं किया, उन्होंने बता दिया 41 रुपये से आप ले लो, चलेगा क्या? 41 रुपये हम दे देंगे। वो टाइम में वो कीमत अच्छी थी, तो हमने हाँ कर दी। कोई व्यवहार नहीं हुआ। और उसके बाद एक 4 महीने के बाद फिर फ़ोन आया, आपको 3 रुपये से और पैसे मिलने वाले। तो पहले 41 से खुश थे, फिर 3 रुपये और ज़्यादा मिल गए, तो बल्ले बल्ले हो गए। और अगले 2-3 साल लगभग ऐसे हो गए, कभी व्यवहार नहीं किया उनके साथ। 1-2 बार ऐसा प्रसंग भी आया कि कुछ लोग बोलते थे थोड़ा अभी एक 5-6 साल पहले थोड़ा एक प्रसंग आया था कि कुछ रेट थोड़ा 1-2 रुपया कम लगता है, तो चर्चाएं बहुत हो रही थी। तो मैं बोला यार तो चर्चा होती रहती, तो हर अगर 4-5 साल हमको 2 रुपये 3 रुपये ज़्यादा मिलते हैं तो ठीक है, ज़्यादा मिलते हैं, लेकिन 1 साल ऐसा जाता है आपका पूरा डूब जाता है। तो विश्वास पात्र कोई होता है जिनको पैसा देना है वो परख के लेता है, थोड़ा व्यवहार करके लेता है, क्योंकि उनको आगे जाके पैसा करना है, फिर पैसा करने के बाद हमको देना है। अगर जिसको डुबाना है वो चलो 2 रुपये ले लो ज़्यादा, कुछ 1-2 साल कोई कोई किसानों के पैसे नहीं मिलते, कोई कोई किसानों तो पैसे ही नहीं मिलते, तो हर साल लगभग 8-10 करोड़ तो डूब ही जाते किसानों के, अंगूर के किसानों में। तो ऐसा भी बहुत प्रसंग आते हैं। लेकिन यहाँ एक अगर हमने अंगूर दे दिए, इधर हार्वेस्टिंग हो गया, तो निश्चिंत हो जाए, सुकून से जीना जीते। तो ये तो एक उदाहरण था। जर्नी के बारे में बताया कि 2011 से उनके साथ काम किया, तब से आज तक कभी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। हर साल जो अगर हमारे मन में कोई क्वेश्चन आते तो उनको हम बताते थे थोड़े फ्रैंकली। जब भी उनको इतना भी लोग होते फिर भी किसी भी वक्त उनको अगर टाइम मिला, हम 2 मिनट 5 मिनट 10 बार आधा तास जब भी टाइम मिलता है उनके साथ खुले मन से चर्चा करते, तो वो पूरा सुन लेते और उसके ऊपर लगे। एक छोटा सा उदाहरण देते थे। मैं पिछले कुछ महीनों से बोल रहा था कि मजदूरों की बहुत प्रॉब्लम आता है खेती में। तो ऐसा लग रहा था अगर मजदूरों का ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं होगा तो आगे जाके 5-6 साल के बाद शायद लगता है कि हम खेती नहीं कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि खेती ऐसा है, खुद किसान तो काम करता है लेकिन उसके लिए एक ही टाइम में बहुत सारे मजदूर लगते हैं। तो अभी क्या होता है, एजुकेशन बढ़ गया, ट्रांसपोर्टिंग बढ़ गया, सब आ गया इसमें। तो बहुत सारे सरकारी धोरण भी है, तो बहुत सारी दिक्कतें आते हैं खेती में मजदूर के लिए। तो मैं बहुत दिनों से बोल रहा था कि ऐसा प्रॉब्लम है, तो उन्होंने सुन लिया। फिर संदीप जी है, संदीप शिंदे जी, उनको भी बोला, तो उन्होंने बहुत, मुझे मालूम नहीं था इतना सीरियसली लेंगे, तो इतना सीरियसली लिया कि उसके ऊपर काम लगे चालू कर दिया। उसका उदाहरण इधर बैठे, इनको काम दिया जो लेबर का प्रॉब्लम है सॉल्व करने के लिए। फिर जो का कुछ हमको साहित्य लगता है, यंत्र हो कोई तंत्र हो, वो भी लगाने के लिए अच्छे। तो इसके अभी इतना बड़ा ये मंच भी उसके लिए अरेंज किया है। तो कोई भी प्रॉब्लम हो तो उसके ऊपर काम करते। अभी लगभग 2014 में हमको वर्ल्ड में क्या चल रहा है, हम कहाँ हैं, अपने कॉम्पिटिटिव जो अंगूर में है, जो अपने साथ काम करते अदर देशों के, तो वो किधर है, हम किधर है, इसके लिए बाहर जाके कुछ हमको भी जो ज्ञान मिलना चाहिए। इसके लिए इजिप्ट देश में भेज दिया, इजिप्ट का टूर किया। उसके बाद ब्राज़ील में गए, दक्षिण अफ्रीका में गए, और हर साल सह्याद्री अपने किसानों को बाहर के देश की यात्रा करते, जहाँ अंगूर लगाते, बहुत अच्छा उगाते, तो उधर भी जाते। तो हमारा भी कॉन्फिडेंस और बिल्ड हो जाता है, अच्छा कॉन्फिडेंस आता है कि हम भी ऐसा कर सकते, इनसे अच्छा भी कर सकते। तो बहुत सारी बाहर देशों को भी जाने की हमको चांस मिला। और फिर जो नए जो इक्विपमेंट है, जैसे कि हवामान अंदाज है, उनके भी बहुत अच्छे, उसके ऊपर ही काम किया है। किसानों को बहुत हमको जो अगर आर्थिक प्रॉब्लम आते तो वो भी ऐसे हम गिनती अभी इधर टाइम कम पड़ेगा।
Yes.
अगर ज़्यादा बोलेंगे तो बहुत सारे वक्ता है उनको भी बोलना है। मेरे मन में उन्होंने कल एक क्वेश्चन किया था। एक क्वेश्चन ऐसा था कि आपकी आगे वाली पीढ़ी कृषि क्षेत्र में क्यों नहीं आना चाहती। तो मेरे दिमाग में सहज एक उनके लिए उत्तर आया कि ये जो सामाजिक विचार करने का जो तरीका है तो उसको प्रतिष्ठा नहीं है। लगभग 60% लोग खेती करते हैं और 60% खेती करते हैं, तो 60% में लोगों से जो अब अभी भारत रत्न हो, पद्म भूषण हो, पद्म विभूषण हो, ऐसे जो सामाजिक प्रतिष्ठा देने वाले जो पुरस्कार है वो 60% में 60% जो लोग हैं उसमें से क्यों नहीं आता बाहर। वो खाली ये 20-30% जो लोग हैं, कोई राजकीय नेता हो, कोई खिलाड़ी हो, कोई संगीत में काम करता हो, कोई गायक हो, इसमें से ही क्यों आते हैं। यानी कि वो काम ही नहीं करते, कुछ सेवा ही नहीं करते, ऐसा लगता है क्या। तो ये जो सोच जो अपने मन में बैठे इधर से ही, तो उसको खेती को सामाजिक प्रतिष्ठा अगर मिल गई तो अपनी हमारी आगे आने वाली पीढ़ी जरूर इधर आएगी। उनको जो पायाभूत सुविधा है, नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी है, उनके लिए उपलब्ध की तो आगे आने वाली पीढ़ी जरूर किसानी में आएगी। और अभी तो हमें तो लगता है अभी ऐसे अगर मंच मिलते हैं तो सामाजिक प्रतिष्ठा जरूर बढ़ेगी। थैंक यू।
शुक्रिया रामदास जी। सामाजिक प्रतिष्ठा के साथ में बहुत सारे आर्थिक लाभ की कहानी आपने बताई, एक मुहिम की कहानी आपने बताई। और जैसे इनको मैं सवाल पूछ रही थी, कल इन्होंने मुझसे फिर सवाल पूछा, जो भी आपके सामने भी उन्होंने बोला कि भारत रत्न अभी तक 60% फार्मर्स में से किसी को क्यों नहीं है। और ये सवाल पूछने की जो आदत है, संदीप जी बताते हैं कि ये हमारे चीफ क्वेश्चन ऑफिसर हैं। इनके पास जो भी चैलेंज आता है ये बेधड़क आके हमको बताते हैं, फार्मर्स ये चैलेंज फेस कर रहे हैं, क्या सोल्यूशन है। और वहीं से एक सोल्यूशन निकला है जो आज़ान हेड कर रहे हैं। आज़ान, प्लीज़ टॉक अबाउट योर जर्नी इन ब्रीफ, and especially because you have a very unique cap table. How does that play in the strategic design of the organization? Because you also have farmers, does that help you understand the problem statement better? What is it different from any other cap table? Yeah, over to you.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Azan Merchant, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bharat Intelligence. I'll quickly give you a brief overview of my background. I'm from Mumbai, but I've spent most of my career working abroad in America and then London, where I was running a venture capital fund. So when I moved back to India 3 years ago, I honestly had no idea about Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 India. I was completely clueless. But through my involvement with an NGO, I realized the latent potential in the agricultural ecosystem and the ability for us to increase our farmer incomes in a pretty straightforward manner. So I spent the last 3 years essentially deep diving into various horticulture value chains, primarily in Marathwada and Western Maharashtra, trying to understand end-to-end why more farmers weren't switching to horticulture. And through that experience, I learned that there were several essentially risks that these farmers were unable to deal with on their own. And that led to a very, obviously a risk-averse persona that the farmer is, does not want to jump into that. And therefore, the ecosystem was not supporting them. So I started building, and building is lonely for any entrepreneur. It's a very difficult journey, especially in agriculture. It's very tough. Funding is dry. No one really wants to support. But I applied to the Digital Impact Squared incubation earlier this year, and I got in March. And through that, obviously, that was my entry into the Sayadri ecosystem. And spent 100 days essentially with various different ecosystem partners out here, across different departments, from the agronomy team, the supply chain team, understanding the 8 core crops that they were dealing with, and getting a very frank, honest perspective, which I was unable to get as an outsider before. Because of obviously, now that I was part of the DISC family, those conversations that I was able to have helped me, frankly, save a lot of time in honing in my idea and pivoting into what I'm doing right now. So The thesis came from obviously the community and Ramdas ji out here, which was that farm labor is a problem that no one has solved for today. There are 144 million agricultural laborers in our country today, and they have no structured way to find work. At the same time, there are 70 million acres of horticulture farms, and those farmers don't have any organized way to find labor. So both sides of the ecosystem and the value chain are struggling today, and there's an acute shortage that is building up, specifically if we focus on what's happening in Nasik right now. Because of the success of players like Sahyadri Farms, more and more farmers have been entering grapes, but due to the seasonal nature of crops like grapes, there's a period of time, for example, between October to the end of the year, where almost 6 to 7 lakh migrant workers come from tribal areas around Nasik just to satisfy this labor requirement for forward pruning. So the journey of understanding, obviously, the nuances of the ecosystem because of having Sahyadri's guidance initially, and then obviously together we refined that, and ultimately they invested in our company recently. They led a 7 crore pre-seed round and now have become obviously strategic partners. And by that means their 22,000 farmer shareholders are also shareholders in our company. So we are building the company for them. They own it. They are represented by Vilasa on the board of our company also. And we will solve this problem for them no matter what it takes. So having that guidance and backbone, gives us the confidence, frankly, to approach this in a much more aggressive manner. So thanks to people like Ramdas ji and the entire ecosystem out here, we are able to take a bold bet like this.
Thank you, Azan. Just because we are talking about the digital impact square, over to you, Anil ji. You help these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs like Azan in their 0 to 1 journey. So talk more about why, one, of course, the 0 to 1 journey and how you contribute, and also why is it important to work with the community, especially when you have to understand the problem statement better. So how does the whole mechanics of things work at your end?
Okay. No, I just want to give you a little bit of history of Digital Impact Square. See, there was like this 2014 Kumbh Mela, right? And that is where the community in Nasik and a few people like Ramesh Raskar, right, who passionate about solving problems, right? They were here. And I think what it did for us is we as a company joined that momentum, and that gave us an understanding that without a community, it's very hard to solve problems. So the Kumbh Mela and the subsequent program called Buildathon, we have a lot of those partners here, right? Vinjit Technology. And so the city came around saying this is an event for city of Nasik. We don't want any incident happening on that. So, and the other element we saw was a lot of young people came in. A lot of student innovators came in. This is essentially journey of 0 to 1, which is the problems were discovered, solutions were found, and they were deployed in the Kumbh Mela in a fairly rapid space. See, that gave us this whole idea whether that momentum and the sandbox which was created in city of Nasik, could we take it further to a pre-incubation program? Right? And of course, we took many thematic areas, but agriculture was one of them. And what we found was especially the journey of entrepreneurs in social space is very risky for the first 18 months, which is where they start with an idea and get to early product market fit. And that's the area we thought we will specialize at Digital Impact Square. And that required us to do 2 things. One is to find the right problem and solve it right. Now, finding the right problem, of course, we being heritage of a company of engineers, right, and innovators in a very different space, I think that's again is not necessarily we have empathy about problems in social sector. So there are 2 things which we did. One, brought in a set of mentors and coaches internally in Digital Impact Square, people who came from multidisciplinary skills, business and design coach. And the idea there was we would go out into the communities work with the stakeholders to find problem we're solving. And these are, of course, at a level which were defined. And then when we brought in these teams, and also individual innovators and startups, solving it right. See, solving it right required a couple of ideas. One was, can we skill these people to think differently? Right? Not solution-fund thinking, because a lot of what we saw was a lot of innovators coming with this idea that I have a solution and I want to make it work in the ecosystem. And that was frankly not working at all. Right? That's what, at least in the social sector, we didn't see it working. And more specifically in agriculture, they were not working, because people's understanding of problem in this domain were limited to generally known problem statements such as flying drones, testing soil, and things like that. Those were very repeatable kind of, or taking pictures of plants and trying to detect diseases. So there are, so that was not an approach we saw it working. So we had built a field immersion program, a kind of a boot camp, which would run for almost 6 months. Right? The first few weeks of the journey would be spent on the ground, and the way we would was build a multidisciplinary, a design coach, a design student, and set of engineers going into the field, working with our partners like Shadri Farm and their network, and spending a lot of time on field. And that worked very well. So I think what we were able to do in this whole journey was making sure that we find the right problem we're solving. Just a quick example, we have a startup called Vesadogo. Now it's also which Shadri has funded. See, they found a very unique problem which is not generally known. It's not a obvious problem which is. So like, for example, for a company like Shadri, who have demand, right, at various point of time, how do you raise the demand on the market to a set of farmers? Farmers have produce, and they also have transport. And what we did was, with Shadri and Tata Motors, innovated on a program to solve this problem. How to match demand. So essentially it's like a Uber pool model applied to rural mobility, where when you place a demand, farmers can bid on it now. The farmers who have transport system, they can make their vehicle available. So this is orchestrated almost like Uber pool. Now this is not possible without being part of an ecosystem. So I think that's something which I would say that I think the other element is also, it is also very difficult to make intervention in value chain where already a lot of innovation is not happening. Like, so because we worked with Shadri, they are operating certain crop value chains, and they also have significant gaps. You could always look at a value chain holistically, find gaps, but unless there is a larger sort of intervention around it, I think morning we heard this in the previous panel, the interventions are not scalable. So I think what we are also doing is now pivoting to a new idea, saying that can we look at a crop chain, look at the entire value chain, find bottlenecks in that, and systematically go and solve that, not only with entrepreneurship, but also make sure that there are industry people who can come in with part of the solution. There are research institutions who could take part of the challenges, and then we bring them, all of them together to solve them. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. I have the same question for you, Kanishk. For agri-techs and in their 0 to 1 journey, how do you play that role, and what is unique about it, and how the evolution has been over the years?
Sure. Hi, my name is Kanishka. Thank you for having me. I don't think we're going to do 2 rounds of conversation, so I'm going to cover some points in the first go. There are a couple of ways to basically kind of look at ecosystem enablement. The program that I lead at the Nudge is called Prize. We've been trying to basically bring incentive competitions to bear fruit for difficult problems in India, which means that not only do you have to basically draft out the problem statement bang on, you have to know when a problem statement is big enough for India to basically kind of find innovations and then unlock substantial gains from it. And because of your problem statement, it should be very clear of what kind of innovations you need in India. We do a lot of that work. And once we have a problem statement, we think two things are very important, and which is where a lot of sticky problems happen in India, is that your incentives are completely misaligned. Incentives at the bottom of the pyramid is misaligned. Incentives at the top of the market is also misaligned. Now, how do you basically bridge that gap? That is where we do a lot of constructing of incentives from our perspective. So we bring philanthropic capital to the table and say that the philanthropic capital should act as gap funding to get markets to solve the problem that exists in India. So that is one part of it. But the second part is the most interesting, complex, and I think the most difficult part of it is how do you bring a incentivized ecosystem to the table as well, which has the same perspectives about the problem statement. And as these innovations race to show you breakthroughs or solutions, the ecosystem around this problem statement should be very interested to take these solutions up to scale. So if there is an interesting solution that's, that reaches scale of 2,000 farmers for agriculture water utilization, or organic carbon improvements, or helping certain processes in the microbial activity to slow down or hasten, I actually need every ecosystem player in India to be on the table for network effects to happen. That is what we've been doing for the last 5 years, that we've been trying to basically bring capital incentives and ecosystem incentives to the table for India's best minds to break through and create problem, solutions to difficult problems. And our experience has been very interesting there. I think the way that we've approached it, we've always taken a very scalable, large problem in India. Agri-water utilization has been the recent one, so I'll take more example there. That I think 2 years back, about 2.5 years back, when I first met Vilasji, I told him that we are starting ag water challenge. And in that ag water challenge, we want to basically solve for the paddy, sugarcane, cotton, and wheat value chains, and get farmers to basically use water-saving technologies. Easier said than done, fundamentally because MSPs help you get the market easily, so you grow more of it. There is no cost to basically, water is free efficiently. So effectively, no matter how much you want to draw, wherever you have water, you can draw. And electricity is cheap. So all incentives are basically misaligned on this problem statement. So how do you basically bring in incentives in this place, is what we ended up designing. And so we said, we'll keep 2.5 crores on the table and say that anybody who gives us scale of 5,000 farmers on an effective solution, then you can gain that 2.5 crores. But more importantly, that we had to basically bring in every kind of ecosystem player who is desperately trying to solve for ag water in India. And at a national level, what I can do is I can get the best knowledge partners, I can get the best investing partners, civil society organizations that work with farmers. I can get core experts, academia on the table. But the top-down ecosystem approach sometimes do not have the accountability to solve it at the grassroots level. And that has been one of the biggest learnings, because we've systematically seen that access points for these technologies is humongously a major hurdle. Like the winner of Ag Water Challenge was EF Polymer. It has a biopolymer at the end of it. Now, accessibility of the smallholder farmer to that technology is still a constraint, despite the fact that they have shown us that they can, in the challenge period, they reached out to 9,500 farmers. But are enough input shops carrying it? Is enough ecosystem enablers at the grassroots level in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, talking about a polymer which is basically available at 1,700 rupees per acre? cost, per kg cost. You need about 2.5 kgs for an acre. At that cost, I don't think it's based, and it cuts out one full irrigation cycle in some of these landscapes. But is the accessibility solved? No. Why isn't it solved? Because there's no one taker for an accessibility solve. There are multiple takers. There are multiple organizations in India who are operating at the grassroots level, who are dealing in the inputs business, or in the water saving business, or as philanthropic measures to take solutions in. So I feel that though there is fantastic work over the last 3 years that I've been witness to. I remember the first Think Act that I went to in Goa, there was one conversation on water. And the third that we just basically finished, it had a climate track through and through, which means that the realization that all of us have to come together on a particular topic is absolutely there. But the grassroots ecosystem evaluation is very thin. We do not know what actually we have to basically invigorate at the last mile for the farmer to have access and agency to choose better. We may be solving for the farmer, great. I think Azan's problem statement is a fantastic one. But the ecosystem for him is how many people are farm laborers? When are they available? How do you get that data? How do you basically enable that data to the last mile? Who are the takers to the farmer when they need it? All of that, choke points have to be solved. Who solves it? Every village, every Gram Panchayat has a different solution for it. So, and how do you basically get to those networks? That is where I think the next bridge of ecosystem building has to be done. We've seen the top-down approach of ecosystem work beautifully in India. Open Agri Network, Unified Krishi Interface. We are sitting in the midst of a value chain that has been created so painstakingly, beautifully for the last 15 years. But that's not common. What is common is that we have still fragmentation and farmer problems not being addressed in an effective way. So I would just leave it at that. I think, these need systematic lenses, but a lot more power to the farmer. Farmer centricity should be at the base of it. So I'll just stop at that, and then maybe Asha, you can fill it.
Thank you, Ganesh, also for highlighting the challenges. That would have been my next question, but glad that you've already answered it. We also have Ganesh joined now. Over to you, Asha, before we go to Ganesh for his comments. Of course, we are working together and we understand there is tremendous amount of work that it needs to be done for cross-country collaborations. What are the trends that we see there? And how are the agri-techs there really working and willing to work ground up? Do you see that? And is it any different from Australia? What are the trends that we are seeing there, and is it evolving into a different picture?
Thanks, Pallavi. First of all, it's great to be here. Thank you, Sahyadri Farms. It's great to be a part of the Bharat Agrinnovation Manthan Summit. This is new for us. We're more in a learning stage. We want to hear. That's a very important part of the ground up. But today's theme is what we can do for the ground up. And first, to answer your question, let me first answer taking 2 steps back, right? Why Australia? There are also other countries such as Netherlands, France, I heard, and Israel that's in the ecosystem. So why Australia? The reason is simple. We're one of the top 5 agri-tech players in the world. We have cutting-edge technology in drones, IoT, robotics, and the research right away translates into the agriculture. Again, but when I say that, please do understand the same challenges that is there in India of farmer adoption is also present in Australia. So there a lot of the challenges, you might say, why is this important for India? I'm happy to share that a lot of the technology that's tested in Australia has similar environment conditions that's similar to yours. So about 65% of Australian environment is in arid or semi-arid zones. We face similar challenges of water scarcity, rural connectivity, labor shortages, and we believe that some of our solutions may be relevant to you as well. So this is where the entire basis of the collaboration comes forth. But coming on to other sort of technologies, what sort of so I'm from Austrade, that's the Australian Trade and Investment Commission. We are facilitators. So as usual, facilitators come later to the game. We only pick it up once it's already started. So I'm happy to share that there's already some AgTech collaboration that's happening on the ground. There's one already, I believe, in the Nasik and Pune belt, close to home. There's some AgTech solutions in the wine production segment as well. Someone earlier, Mr. Rai, spoke of gherkins. So we also have some technology that could help with reaching gherkin productions to export orientation standards. So I'm happy to discuss about those solutions as well. There's a number of solutions that are there at the ground. I saw in the presentation about fertilizers. So Australian fertilizers are regarded to be really high quality, and globally and in India as well. Australia is sort of the market leader for high quality fertilizers. So this is the sort of engagement we already have. But to sort of relate with you more with the audience here today, Australian AgTech is an sector that's only sort of come out in the last 20, 25 years, right? So Australian AgTech startups also face similar challenges. I know right away you'll say that no, the land parcels are much, much bigger in Australia as compared to India. But also the consumer, the market available in Australia is much, much lower. So for example, there'll be a solution in Australian AgTech that will be really high in quality. It will be really relevant. But then they'll find it only applicable to certain, it will be really rarely adopted despite the high quality of the solution, which is the same issue that we face here. So they come, then they explore international markets such as India, right? So the challenges that we've seen is that they take a copy-paste model. They say that, okay, the solution that we have in Australia is really good, really high quality, and then why don't we just follow that model and come across? And we see that, of course, it fails, right? So the good thing is, before Australian AgTechs used to just walk away saying that, no, we don't have the money, we can't come to India anymore. But now the Australia-India relationship is doing so well, and agri-tech is one of the themes that form a core aspect of the relationship in taking it forward, that those AgTechs that had walked away saying that India's too hard, they're actually coming back. And they're looking to re-engage with different business models, which is so important. Now, I'm going to come to how are we relevant to you, because we have very little question. I know we have one more speaker, I'll just make it very quick. So you guys are startups. I haven't seen I wanted to know more about you, but I'm guessing you guys are startups and more in the first stage, the pilot stage. There are a couple of programs that we have bilaterally that you can use. One is the Graft Challenge that ThinkAg was also a part of. They help in co-creating solutions on the ground. First of all, we now know that you can't reach answers only by working on your own fields. Nowadays, agriculture is a global phenomena, and partnering together to reach those solutions across borders is so essential to get the right answer. So that's why we got Graft Challenge, that we can work together with Indian farmers and get the solution. But before I go further, I want to say it's a two-way street, right? I saw mango and banana was also there. So there was a disease, I'm sorry, the rain has worsened my cough actually. So the banana, there was a disease in banana actually that was afflicting Australian production lines. And the solution to that disease actually came from the ICAR facility in UP. And similarly, we also had the solution for mango in Australia. So this is just a really basic example of research collaboration that's of high value. And we're not new here. We've been collaborating on agricultural research for the last 42 plus years. AgTech is only about 5-6 years old. That's a fairly new space for us. There's so many examples I can keep listing. I'm happy to share on one-on-one conversations. There's a shrimp detection technology that helped the industry in India. Had about an 8 billion outcome in exports thanks to that technology. Now, that same technology, I think it's relevant for Sahyadri Farms. It helps in disease detection in banana and mangoes also. So maybe it's relevant, we can discuss how to take that collaboration forward. Beyond graft challenge, there's also the rice challenge as well that you can, so the rice challenge is where a cohort of Indian companies go and explore the Australian market. A cohort of Australian startups come and see the Indian market. So it's a very bilateral sort of approach, but something that you can benefit from. I would like to conclude, but not before saying that, listen, we are still new in the space. Everything has been more organic for us, in our engagement. And here, we're actually putting our foot forward to strategize and understand what exactly is the demand in India, and how can we match our capability and help India. So for that, we're actually working with ThinkAg, and thank you so much, Mr. Heminder and Pallavi, that they're helping us launch that, get that report together. And thank you, everybody else. I went above, but I'm happy to answer any more questions and collaborative sections later. Thank you.
Thanks, Asha. Thanks for calling out that this is a learning phase for all of us, especially because we're trying to build and think building ground up. That's not typically how the history tells us to do. I'll come to you, Ganesh, and I'll give you a context where we are in the conversation. Before that, just a heads up, I'll quickly come because we have really no time left. We're getting some grace time because of Ganesh. But I'll come to each one of you quickly to get some anecdotal evidence, a quick story, a quick example to the effect why ground up, where probably you would have seen if it is not ground up, it failed or it took a lot of time. And secondly, what are the challenges in case you have some anecdotal evidence where bringing people together and working together was a challenge and how you dealt with that. So pick any of them. Why ground up? Second, any challenge that you sort of solved for. So Ganesh, we are in the conversation where we are saying it's public, private, people partnership. So where is Social Alpha? What role from zero to what journey? What is your experience, especially working with community? And also we can start from your response to the same question, why ground up?
So thanks and sincere apologies for being late. I was stuck in traffic for a long time. But again, I think for us at Social Alpha, we are a full stack organization wherein we are looking at the R&D ecosystem and we are also looking at the scale deployment. So it is this whole ecosystem that is something that at Social Alpha we try and focus on. And it is mainly looking at science and technology which can try and solve problems for people and planet. So that's the core of our approach. And the reason why we emphasize on people is our close engagement with the communities, because it's not only in a way helping startups, but also understanding the problems which are coming from the community and how we can feed it back to the startup ecosystem to maybe evolve on the technology in a manner that it can help resolve the problems for the community. And that's the reason I think the approach always has been grounds up. We are thesis driven, wherein we look at areas of agriculture, livestock, climate, even healthcare for that matter. And through this thesis, the core focus is how do we run specific challenges to understand problem statements from the community. And that's the reason I think our partnership with DISC and Sahyadri helps us get those problem statements from the grounds up in a partnership mode that you are also emphasizing. And then those problem statements are something that we try and see if there is a marry to a startup who has a certain solution which needs to be tweaked from a geographical perspective, or can we help a startup actually take it from an idea to the next level? And that's the reason our R&D ecosystem actually is also helpful for us to do that as an approach. And again, I think we were talking yesterday also from an example perspective. And just to put across an example from a startup which had a sub-HP pump. And unfortunately, what is happening, the startup had the idea, but the startup always was putting it from the technology perspective more, rather than understanding how the farmers will actually respond to it or what are the problems that the farmers are facing. Now, when that startup basically was just building the idea, it took about a year to just put that idea into a prototype in a lab. But when it was taken to the ground, it actually hit a big roadblock because it had issues vis-a-vis the head, the water levels, the pressure that the water is actually discharging with, which unfortunately the startup did not think very strongly when the design was happening. And that's the reason then we started working with them to give them the presence in places like Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, because it works in places wherein the ground tables are better compared to, say, a place like Maharashtra or Rajasthan. And our engagement with the startup, at least for a year, enabled them to improve that particular product or technology from the farmer's perspective. And now it is really growing in a manner that there is a lot of demand from the community. There are issues vis-a-vis, say, after sales or financing, but we could see that connect between the startup and the community, which is coming from a grounds-up perspective to look at. So that's how I would put across Social Alpha playing a role in the ecosystem, and our partnership with DISC and Sahyadri has been there for many, many years, wherein I think we keep on learning from DISC, which is very, very early. We come to a next stage. So there have been startups wherein from DISC we have supported as the next level, and then they move ahead in their journey. And there have been startups which we actually have requested at DISC that can we partner them or we pilot them into places like tribal areas of Nandurbar and then see if the growth is a possibility. So I think we play that facilitating role in the ecosystem. And I think the point that you were emphasizing in terms of partnerships, yes, they are very, very important to look at. And not one anecdote, but many anecdotes which actually help us see how we can closely connect with the startup, help them give that space with the community, and see how the technology could be further built up to really solve the problems of the community. Yeah, so that's broadly how I can put it across from our side.
Sure. Thanks, Ganesh. Can we start with you, Ganesh? A quick example where...
I think two things come to my mind. One, sorry, इस बार मैंने हिंदी बोला ही नहीं, पूरा इंग्लिश में बोल गया मैं पूरा. But दो organizations हम जो इस बार इस round पे देख चुके हैं, which are true cases on the ground, and have built their product completely ground. Extreme amount of farmer centricity. One is Cultivate and the other one is Industrial. Now, Cultivate story, in a matter of 2 years, we have seen them actively bring down the price. Daam unka basically kariban, when they started the challenge, was about 5,000 rupees per acre from a solution. The solution was a different solution. It was a gateway enabled solution where multiple probes would basically kind of get congregated at one point, and that inference of advisory would go to multiple farmers for paddy, specifically for paddy, about when to stop water, when to start irrigating, stop irrigating. In the course of understanding the farmer, the need and the geography that they were working with and the water resources and the price points, they've now come down to a 499 rupees per intervention per year annual subscription plan, which means that the affordability, the product changes. It is now a computer vision product, and it is a different product than what they were starting with. But they are not stuck to it. This is my product, this is my price, I'll fit it everywhere. They have stuck to the problem that they are solving. So they have not diluted the problem in search of just fitting their product. They have kept the focus on the product, and they've reduced the price so that they can solve the problem for the farmer. Second organization is Industrial, which has been working in IoT-driven like farm irrigation automation, fertigation and irrigation automation systems. Their product might be expensive for the farmer, but it is completely built keeping the farmer in the mind. So that entire team has been basically based in Maharashtra, working with a cohort of, I think, 50 farmers initially, where they would basically intervene and interview them almost every week about what the usage patterns were and what is working, what is not working. To add climate advisory or basically probes was an addition because the farmer needed it, not because there was another product waiting to be integrated into their product. So, ये जो small nuances हैं, जहाँ पे they stay with the farmers, they understand the farmer's context and change the product, is what I would want to bring to the table of building grounds up.
Absolutely, Ganesh. And I think these nuances play a very important role when we're working on a larger solution in implementation. Quick response to the same question, Asha, in case you have any anecdotal evidence where certain nuances coming really from the ground help the startup define and design their strategy.
That's a good question. I'm going to talk about a digital IT platform. So what they did was they solved a very clear issue in India, improving farmers' outcome. Now, a very common, it's not a common problem, but traders eat a large portion of farmers' income, right? So they were aware of the problem, and they set up a platform in which they were able to set up a harvest calendar for the farmer, and then based on the date of when it came out, they could set the price for the crop. So this of course took a lot of time. It worked better in Kerala, but when we pitched this similar solution to Uttar Pradesh, and because there's quite a bit of agri-stack interest as well, and there's a lot of data concerns, so they were able to manage that. They said, you keep the data, we'll just give us the, they had a business model that made sense. It worked. It worked because they listened in the ground on what the issues were, and they right away. So these guys were just an engineering folk, and right away they had an answer. So it worked in Kerala. It did not work up in UP. So mixed results.
Sure. Thanks. Over to you, Anilji, for the same question.
Okay, so maybe I give an example of Vestatogo earlier. Maybe one more example is a company we incubated called Godam. I think that's onion problem, which is very difficult to solve. But this is a problem seen from the farmer side. Because see, what happens is they store onion with the idea that when the price is high, they can pay it. But the problem there is also that there is a rotting of onions. Right? And the way they have designed their warehouses is not very scientific. They are not able to detect when the initial rotting happens. So there's essentially the waste problem. So our team, with the help of Shadri, took this problem and started working with the farmers. See, very quickly we realized that the economics of having this solution solved for the farmers and the farmer warehouse may be challenging. Right? So that's where we found another partner, Tata Steel. Interestingly, very different company who is steel, and they said steel can be used in warehouses. So we then started designing something called community warehouses for them. And our community warehouses where a set of farmers will come together, store their produce. And this solution to this problem they came with is a set of sensors which can detect early rotting of onions within that thing. So in this whole thing, I think there was many pivot. One is whether we had the right economic model for the farmer, whether we had ability to redesign the entire warehouse a little bit more scientifically with a partner like Tata Steel. So we had to do, I think this team had to do a lot of stuff to make this solution viable in the marketplace. Good is they are now scaling really well.
Sure, thank you. Over to you, Azan. Was there any moment where there was course correction just because you're working closely with the farmers, ground up? Any such instance?
Sure. So I'll give you my perspective from an entrepreneurial lens. So most founders today struggle with distribution and acquisition. A lot of the discussions earlier today were how do we get technology to reach farmers? The typical push strategy. I think when you take a step back and you stop defending what you've built, but you actually work with the communities you're trying to serve and build for them, you realize that there'll be a complete pull towards the product that you have. So we launched our product a month ago, and frankly, we've got negative acquisition costs. It's pretty crazy because we built with farmers, with the community. We took their guidance. We pivoted completely, scrapped all of our old biases. And it's frankly, I've never seen such natural pull from the market, right? It's a beautiful feeling, frankly, to see that you're able to serve communities and progress your business in a pretty exponential manner. So you couldn't do that if you weren't building ground up.
Thank you. Ganesh, do you have anything to add to the conversation you came in last? Anything quick? Okay. रामदास जी, quickly आपके पास आएंगे. कोई ऐसा मसला सबको साथ लेके चलना एक कठिन काम है. कृषि वैसे भी आप ही का स्टेटमेंट है, सृजन का काम है. साथ में लाना कितना मुश्किल या आसान था आपके लिए, क्योंकि आप एज अ डायरेक्टर सह्याद्री भी काम किया है, सबको साथ लेके चलना डिसीजन मेकिंग में कैसा, कितना इजी, कितना मुश्किल था?
प्रश्न समझ में नहीं आया मुझे।
मैंने आपसे ये पूछा कि एक तो अकेले एक डिसीजन ले लें, वेलासिटी डिसीजन ले लें, वो तो आसान है क्योंकि उनको ही लेना है। एक है कि ये इतने सारे फार्मर्स जो ओन करते हैं, कितना आसान था इन सबको साथ लेके चलना?
देखिए, एक एक किसान अगर काम करता है तो उसकी ताकत कम बढ़ जाती है। भारत में छोटे छोटे किसान हैं, बाहर देशों में गए तो बहुत बड़े 5,000 हेक्टर, 2,000 हेक्टर, 10,000 हेक्टर ऐसे बड़े बड़े किसान हैं, तो उनकी ताकत बड़ी होती है, लेकिन हमारी ताकत छोटी होती है। एक एक किसान पूरी ताकत के साथ काम नहीं कर सकता। अगर साथ में आए तो साथ में ताकत बढ़ जाती है। इसके अलावा हमें कुछ रास्ता भी नहीं है। अगर साथ में आएंगे तो ताकत बढ़ जाती है। अभी सह्याद्री के माध्यम से ही हमारी ताकत जो बाहर के देशों में दिखाई देती है। सह्याद्री का नाम है काफ़ी अच्छा हर एक देश में। अगर मैं खुद रामदास पाटिल नाम से गया होता तो मुझे वहाँ पहुँच भी नहीं पाता। तो ऐसे कोई इलाज भी नहीं इसके साथ। दूसरा है, अगर साथ में आते हैं तो हर कोई प्रॉब्लम के ऊपर काम हो जाता है। एक एक किसान अपने दम पे कोई कारवर नहीं बन जाएगा। तो अगर हमको कुछ नया सृजन करना है, कुछ अपना काम अच्छे से करना है, कम समय में करना है, कम लागत में करना है, तो एक साथ आने के सिवा कोई मार्ग नहीं है। तो और इधर आके सह्याद्री में आके ये आसान क्यों होगा? क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होते हैं। अभी R&D कमेटी है, R&D में हम संशोधन करते हैं, अच्छे अच्छे किसान उधर जाके, तो सबको काम में आता है। फिर कोई भी हो, कोई दवा हो, कोई एक्टिविटी हो, आर्थिक प्रॉब्लम हो, कोई भी हो, अगर एक साथ आए तो प्रॉब्लम छूट जाते हैं। तो एक साथ की शक्ति अलग ही है। तो इतना कठिन भी नहीं है, लेकिन आसान भी नहीं है, क्योंकि विश्वास का नाम, दूसरा नाम सह्याद्री है। अगर विश्वास आप पहले पाते हैं तो अपने आप लोग जुड़ते जाते हैं। एक बार पहले विश्वास हासिल कीजिए, फिर आपके साथ आप अगर प्रामाणिक हो तो लोग अपने आप साथ में आ जाते हैं।
बहुत सही, such a valid point, and I'm glad that we are ending the discussion on this. That once trust is formed, whether this is cross-border collaboration, or this is domestic, or this is asymmetrical, symmetrical, vertical, horizontal, whatever kind of collaboration we're talking about, that becomes easy. The fundamentals are taken care of. We have not covered a couple of things in this conversation. For example, scaling up, what we see here at Sahyadri, because I think we're still in that learning phase. It'll take us time to reach that question. There was value chain conversation and point being emphasized upon by all of the panelists. I think that's something that we have not covered, but we'll take 2 quick questions and then we'll call it off.